Honey, I have to say my parents really did, though, do me a solid with that Costco bag of tortilla chips. That was as tall as I was.
Yeah.
It was like 4.5 feet.
Yeah.
And then the Kraft singles in the fridge. And that's all I need
That's
to this
all
day. When people say that I seem like a bitch that could survive the apocalypse, I'm like, yeah, obviously.
If you hit up a Costco.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Oh my goodness. Sorry I froze. It's very windy here. It's like a windstorm. And I think it knocked the internet out.
My mom's always like, when it's like, well, it's cloudy today. That must be what's happening with the internet.
I don't
know if that's how it works.
I really
okay.
think the wind affects the internet. We'll see.
Sure.
We'll see.
Honey, who does any of this exist?
Exactly.
We don't know.
You know what's so funny to me is that like I get so pissed off at like my cell phone or the internet, and then I'm like, it's so funny to me. Like it's magic. Like that you can just have
the fact that any of this shit even works. Yeah.
Yes,
what are we doing? We're literally
ever.
sitting. Wait, we're sitting like 4,000 miles apart,
talking
in our own respective homes, looking at each other.
Yes. Video phone.
Talking.
Like we dreamed of in days of Pee-wee's Playhouse.
And recording all of it.
Yeah.
And then we're going to put it out into the airwaves
tomorrow.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
So, maybe.
It's wild. So if it froze for 1 second and it was the wind or whatever, I guess I'm going to try not to be too mad about it.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. I'm everybody
hey,
in this case.
Everybody.
Hey, how are you?
Welcome to the show. I'm good. How are you?
How's your week been?
Well, Casey, since last we spoke, my week's been all right. We had our first big table read for Netflix for Girls 5 Eva.
Oh, great.
And we did 3 episodes and it was good. It was like great to see people. It was exciting. It was a little nerve-wracking, and ultimately I think it all went well. And we're still like a bit away from going to work, but I think I think that I don't know if it's like a product of the impending writers strike that may happen, that they want to get all of the episodes written before
that happens. Yeah, before they can.
If that happens.
Yeah.
Because when is that? When is that date? Do you know?
I don't know.
I'm not in the WGA. I wasn't ever allowed in.
That's so weird to me.
It is. I'm in the Directors Guild and the Screen Actors Guild and AFTRA.
So weird to me.
Well, I'm okay with it because it's like one less due I have to pay.
You're not missing much.
No. Well,
I mean,
true,
I love a union, but
Me
it's
too.
like when you're not working on it, it's not like they help you get jobs or what,
No, but also like I think that the new media, you guys, this is such like dumb insight, but it is interesting. I think people don't understand like just how much streaming has really fucked over the people who make the stuff.
Right.
Because the deals that were in place with studios and everybody's claiming that they're poor and like no one is. Yeah. They're all making so much money and then they're like just not able to pay proper residuals or reimburse people for their work.
Just every time there's some new development, someone is dreaming up ways of like cutting corners and like there's no more corners to cut. It's round,
We're in a circle.
We're in a flat circle and there can be no more corners cut off of it.
I feel like there's just been, I don't know. I feel like personally my week has been okay. I was like really obviously like I think most everyone and certainly everybody listening like sort of horrified by the events of the past week in Memphis.
Yeah.
And Tyree Nichols and it's just That was very hard. Obviously didn't watch anything because I think it's disgusting that they would release the video. I think it's I think it's actually.
First of all, every time I see his mother speak, my heart just
No, I
breaks
can't.
because
Well, I think that is what speaks to so many of us,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. But then on the other hand, like I understand, you know, I feel for all of my Black friends who are having
Same.
this come up in their timeline
Again
and again. And you know, everybody's been talking about this this theory called linked fate, which is that like every time a Black person sees a Black body abused or worse, killed, that it does something to them psychologically because it's you know, the name is what it is. It's a linked fate. They see themselves or their loved ones in that person that's being harmed on screen. And so that's just detrimental to Black people's mental health. Then at the same time, you know, you hear the arguments for why we should be or have to watch this thing so that we understand the brutality and the loss. It's really, really complicated. I know for me, like, I feel like I understand how brutal it is without having to watch it. And I have really particular feelings about like watching death at all.
Yeah, obviously.
You know, I just feel like it should do something to all of us. It should. And I don't know that it does. And so in every case, I don't know that it affects people in the way that it should to ever see someone die. And I think like sometimes seeing it on video makes it like not real for people. And so I'm just sending love to all of our friends who, you know, are again in this fucking position of being like, can you say my life matters?
Like, I know. It's also just like I think I wrote this because I put, you know, like a post up with that. I was glad that AJ Plus account like posted all those amazing photos of him and his photographs and all that stuff, because I think that was really necessary. Like, to me, well, I have two thoughts. The first one is that for me, obviously, like you said, I think of myself as a mother. Mm-hmm. It's impossible for me to separate another mother's pain from my own. It just is. Like I just can't fucking imagine losing a child, period. Right. And then losing a child to racism and brutality and like a thing, you know, it's really hard to fathom. And then the second piece of it is like that the idea that like showing it or seeing it is necessary for people to like get white people, I guess, to get it or something is so fucking insane to me, because what is inherently like what we need to build up is empathy, right?
Right.
And you create empathy by the similarities, not watching someone be defined by the worst last moment of their life.
Right.
That they had no control over.
Right.
And I just think that people, I see it in like sometimes in comments and not on necessarily my Instagram at this point, but like, I mean, maybe I think there might have been a few, whatever, they're gone. Those motherfuckers like saying like, whatever they say, whatever justification, like whatever thing that they put in there.
We don't know the whole story is what people say.
But people put that in there to put distance between themselves and the tragedy and the reality of the tragedy. And here's a thing that I used to fucking do when I was right after I had Birdie. Have we talked about this? Yeah, we did because it was on Instagram. This was like early days of Instagram stories. I think I talked about this. It was called Dead Baby Stories.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay. And like, in order to make myself feel better about that that my child would be safe always, I would like obsessively read stories anytime there was like a baby murdered, a baby kidnapped, a baby died of some fucking horrible dry drowning, whatever. I would like deep dive on it until I could find out why, figure out in my brain, it's nonsensical, right? Because
Right.
there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Right.
I would refuse to look at all the ways that I was similar to the people. I
Right.
only would see the way in which I know I would do something different.
Right. Right.
And that was how I was able to I was, of course, also, guys, suffering from postpartum anxiety,
Right.
which I wasn't aware of. But like, I was really obsessed with that idea of like, oh, okay. So the mom's my age. Okay. The baby's Birdie's age. Okay. This. But oh, nope. I wouldn't have done that. Nope. Would have gone. Yeah, I'm good.
Right.
Birdie's still alive.
Right. Right.
And I think to like the psychology of trying to like get people to understand like how like the systemic nature of and how ingrained violence against Black and brown bodies in this country is, there was some idea that like these body cameras or the proof would be able to do it.
Right.
And I just disagree.
So
I just think it gives certain people the distance that they can say like, well, that's not me and it's not anyone I know. It's fine.
And so far, people, even when confronted with the proof and the, like just undeniable proof, people still say the same thing. People still say the same things. Well, we don't know the whole story. We don't know what happened before the footage started. And it's like, it doesn't matter. You could watch a video of that guy's whole life and then those last few minutes and someone would still say the same shit.
Right. But what I'm saying is like, you see that guy joyful on a skateboard. You see this kid fucking taking beautiful pictures of sunsets.
Right.
Like, who doesn't love sunsets?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, he deserves to die because he ran or whatever. Like, I'm literally not. I don't know what people have said because I won't look.
You won't look.
Well,
yeah.
I won't look at the fucking comments of people who are trying to put the space
Right.
between themselves and other humans.
Right.
Who think that like murder is an okay outcome for a traffic stop. Like,
Right.
what?
It's just, here's why it just doesn't make any sense. Because it was like a traffic stop with no probable cause and it escalated to this incredible amount of violence so quickly. But here's the thing. Even if there was cause to pull him over,
Correct.
even police are never supposed to kill anyone. They're not the judge or the jury or the executioners for any crime. It is just their job to detain someone even when there is probable cause. So that's like all of those arguments, like they just go out the window, even though people try to repeat them over and over. Nobody ever being disrespectful, nobody ever running or resisting in any way. None of those.
No, and you also see when there's the video of the crazy white Karen lady.
Right.
Running, resisting arrest,
Right, that
doing
the
whatever.
rules are different.
That the rules are different for white bodies. The rules are different for white people. Like Kyle Rittenhouse.
How many mass shooters have been safely cuffed and sat in the back of a police car, sometimes given a cheeseburger.
Casey, I believe all of them.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just,
Like,
but I'm
literally, unless they've taken their own fucking life.
right. So I'm just saying, like, all of those arguments, it's a non-starter because police are never supposed to kill anyone.
And police rarely kill white people. That's
Right.
just
So
the
it's-
bottom fucking line.
Right. So it's obviously like just this big problem that needs to be solved. And the reason my heart is so broken, besides just for his poor mom, is just that people are just like, we need police reform. And I'm like, okay, who's working on that? What is getting done? It just seems like one of those things. It seems like the new thoughts and prayers, you know? Like, it's not even new. It's old. Like, people like, we need to change this now. Thoughts and prayers. It's just, it doesn't mean anything. It's just words.
John Oliver, right after George Floyd's murder, John Oliver, or maybe not right after, but in that summer after, John Oliver had a really incredible episode of Last Week Tonight.
Yeah.
That highlighted a town on the East Coast. I can't remember the specifics of it.
Right. Where got rid of police.
They basically, no, they didn't get rid of the police, but they basically were able to sort of like get around the police union in some way. And everyone on the force like everyone at the top was fired.
Yeah.
Like everyone in the top of the police department was fired. And then everyone else, I believe, like I'm trying to remember this from watching a show.
Yeah.
But essentially, like what they did was they required everyone to reapply for the job.
Yeah.
And they did it with like new standards and like psych evals and like a different way of doing the whole thing. Like it was like radical.
Yeah.
And then they did separate out departments, right? So like, yes, like traffic stop. A lot of people are like, cops shouldn't even be making fucking traffic stops. Like, I agree. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why is a cop with a gun making a fucking traffic stop? It's not necessary.
Right. Right.
Like, it's just so stupid.
Right.
Or domestic violence calls or mental health calls, like all of those things. Like there should be other departments.
Because that's not their area of expertise.
Right. But like also to be fair, and if anyone is listening who's like family or police officers and whatever, like there's a lot that's put on fucking cops to be.
Right.
And like they don't have adequate training or ability to be able to be 47 different things.
Right.
When their training is really like one thing.
Yeah, and the training's become increasingly militaristic.
Yeah, and more violent.
Right.
And they had that guy. They also like in that episode of John Oliver, they profiled that guy who like basically has set the precedent for modern policing training, which is insane. Like if you haven't seen that, guys, highly recommend checking it the fuck out because you will be honestly terrified.
Right. Like when you look at what modern police departments have for vehicles, what they have for budgets, and what they do with those budgets, that they're basically being like armed like tactical forces. And it's like they have the equipment and the gear and the look of people that are ready to go to war. And so then you have to ask yourself, who are they going to war with?
Correct.
And, where they're not being dropped in another country. They're in each of our towns has like, basically every city, every town has its own like military force. And so like, what are they going to war against? I do want to say, like, I get it. And I've known people and I have people in my family who are in law enforcement. And I think that they're good people, and I know how scary it is to watch your loved one put on their badge and go to work. But I would encourage you talking about like getting the facts and putting distance or just, orienting yourself to the truth, I would encourage you to look up statistics on what are actually the most dangerous professions in the United States. Food delivery is very dangerous. Truck driving is very dangerous. Being a police officer is not the most dangerous job in the United States. My son was a pizza delivery kid for a few years, and like, thank God I never knew how dangerous it was. But being a police officer, while you are putting your life on the line and dealing with, unpredictability, there are a lot of jobs. I feel like forklift driver, a lot of things that have to do with heavy equipment and machinery, and all of those things have unpredictable elements. Being a police officer it isn't the most dangerous job in the United States currently, and so I think that that's just one thing that we need to think more about, and then get more realistic about the way police officers need to respond to literally every confrontation that they're in the presence of, or often that they're causing. Right. There would be no confrontation often if they weren't pulling someone over, or I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. I'm not an expert, but all I can say is like, if my heart is broken, if I feel tired, I just can't imagine what a parent of especially Black sons who are just trying to live their lives and be happy and play and do the things that they love. Mm. And they're just trying to you talk about the way that you feel. I was just talking about, I know it's hard to watch your family, your loved one, if they're in law enforcement, go out the door every night. Think about the way that it feels for a Black parent to let their 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, up until forever, every time.
For the rest of your fucking
life. For
life.
the rest of your life. Every time you're a Black parent and your Black child, especially your Black son, is leaving the door, it doesn't matter how much you've trained them, how much you've taught them. It doesn't matter how much you've told them what they have to do to stay safe in that situation, because it doesn't matter. None of anything, none of saying like, I don't have a gun, my hands are up, please don't shoot, I'm complying, I'm doing everything you've asked. It hasn't worked. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
And so I don't know what the solution is, but I know that I'm sick to my stomach.
Me too. And I have been thinking about how, a while ago we talked about, like maybe like a year ago, we talked about this idea of like, it feels of things feeling overwhelming because it's so big, right?
Yeah.
It's so systemic. It's so giant. And like, what if we make it real small, and like really small, like just in our communities and with our city council people, and we ask them to help. And, and we ask the small police force, the police forces in our towns, and because, a lot of times when I was looking into some stuff that I was like helping out with in 2020, like with Black Lives Matter and Movement for Black Lives, like the police unions, and again, do love a union, but a lot of times like the police union, it's a little like it's like, sometimes it's like a little tricky.
Well, we don't have a people's union.
We don't have a union that protects people. That's right. That's right.
So it's just,
that's exactly right.
We have this system in place that is like, it's inherently racist. And I'm just saying this because like the origins of policing are racist. 100%. Police organizations were formed originally to catch like runaway slaves. So that when I say inherently racist, the system is built on racism, that's what I mean. And white supremacy is prevalent still. And it just, so unfortunately, what we're dealing with now is like an unchecked authoritarian system.
Correct.
Where
we need to, this is why I'm saying, like, I think the only way, like, I look at that place in Connecticut. I made up that it's in Connecticut. Whatever. The thing from John Oliver.
Yeah, I'm guessing it was probably Massachusetts. I feel like Massachusetts I think that there have been some novel, I'll have to look. I think there have been some novel ideas about policing in Massachusetts, believe it or not.
Here's what I want to say stresses me the F out.
Yes.
Grocery shopping, meal planning in New York. I can't do it for my kids. It's so hard, Casey.
It's a lot. It's a lot anywhere, but especially in New York.
No, New York is impossible. But any big city, I think. Like, anytime you're like, ugh. Also, like, my kids are like, you can't make the same thing, Mom. Like, please.
That's me.
Please.
That's how I feel to myself. I have decision fatigue. I need help and I need suggestions.
Well, guess what?
What?
Hungry Root is here to help.
So helpful. Hungry Root is a service that fills your fridge with healthy food and simple recipes. So it's almost like part meal kit company, part grocery delivery company. So they'll send you meals for any time of the day for any number of people that live in your house, plus all kinds of little snack things that you can stock up and fill your cabinets with. And I have to say that the meal kits have been such a lifesaver in my house. They're super tasty. They're super easy.
Yeah, I was going to say they're really easy. And like for me, that's the biggest thing.
I'm not trying to go to culinary school. You know what I'm saying? Like I just need
Honey, who has time?
I just need something I can throw together in 10 to 15 minutes. And
we have other skills.
Yeah, that's it. That's not my journey. That's not
but they also have fresh produce, which I
Yes.
love.
Yes.
And high quality meat and seafood, pantry staples, healthy snacks, even sweets. I appreciate it.
It's so
all about
good.
balance, guys. It's all about balance. I just love it because I'm spending less time thinking about shopping and not shopping, and more time just like enjoying the healthy meals and food that show up for me from Hungry Root.
I feel like it gets to know like what you like as you go along.
I mean, that tracks.
Yeah, there's a quiz, a short quiz. You know, we love a
Guys,
quiz.
what do we love?
Right. So they get to know you, what kind of food you like, what your goals are for your eating and how you like to eat it, what flavors you're into, what things you definitely aren't into. So you're never going to get anything where you're like, oh, bummer, this service doesn't know me at all. I don't eat
The other
this.
thing I love is that it's like not just what's for dinner, it's breakfast and lunch as well.
Yes.
Guys, highly recommend giving Hungry Root a shot. It's going to make your life so much easier. And right now, Hungry Root is offering Busy Phillips is doing her best listeners 30% off your first delivery and free veggies for life. Excuse me? Hungry Root? Excuse me?
That's wild.
Excuse me? Just go to hungryroot.com/busy to get 30% off your first delivery and get your free veggies on. That's hungryroot.com/busy. Don't forget to use our link so we get credit and they know that we sent you. Oh my God. I saw Naomi Watts post this amazing thing today.
Yeah.
That was like, her as a little girl, like, when can I use a tampon? And her now, like, am I old enough to use a tampon? And then her now, and she's like, am I old enough to use lube? Like, and I so appreciated it because I do think, like, a lot of women forget that we can, like, help ourselves.
We can decide. We can
Better sex.
Yes.
We get more comfortable sex. even if you're like, my sex isn't uncomfortable, but it could also be like better.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, guys, I love you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you it could be.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, truly. Guys, come here. I'm going to tell you something.
Lean in.
Lean in, because I need to tell you that I know you think it's fine. Could be better.
Could be better.
It could be better. And like, honestly, this is a safe space. Euphoria really did like change my opinion about a lot of things. And like, I am such a fan of their product and also just like their whole ethos, like how they're just like empowering people with vulvas, people who love vulvas, people who want to like have bigger, better, more full orgasms. Guys, in case you've been sleeping under a rock or just fast forwarding through these ads for the last 2.5 years,
you've missed
Foria,
out.
You've missed out on us talking about Foria. Foria is a company that makes products that'll transform your sexual pleasure, especially if you have a vagina or you love someone that has a vagina. They're products that are made to help women and people with vulvas fully experience their sexual pleasure, heightened orgasm, sexual comfort, because they use like CBD warming, sensation-inducing botanicals.
Euphoria has a ton of products, but we highly recommend the Awaken Arousal Oil and the Sex Oil. You can use them together. And
Perfect combo.
With a partner
Or
with
solo,
or
as the
solo.
case may be.
Yeah. Which
You
is
don't
that's also the perfect combo. Who needs a partner when you have Awaken
You
Arousal
don't.
and
Not
Sex
me.
Oil? Yeah.
I don't ever again. Is that too forceful? Anyway, when I do, you know they're going to be introduced to my friends Foria. Guys, just try it. If you haven't tried it, like, just try it. Just do it.
It's
do it
so
for yourself.
worth it.
Do it for your partner. Also, like, just do it for yourself.
And by the way, just throwing this out there, Foria is just like a really discreet packaging, really discreet bottles. You tuck it in your nightstand. No one's ever going to even bat an eye at like what you have in your nightstand. So if that has been the holdup that's stopping you from giving it a try, don't even worry.
TBH.
Yeah.
I did like almost mistake my Foria for my vitamin D oil that I take orally. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's just like very like chill,
it's that-
looking like almost like medicinal kind of like vibes.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like, it doesn't say like, did you ever have like a boyfriend who like bought lube?
A
And it's like,
neon package.
yeah, it's like
screaming.
neon and it's like wet lube for sex. You know what I mean?
It's,
You're like,
Foria's
that's
very
not the vibe. That's not the vibe. The packaging is chic.
super discreet and chic and not large or overpowering, and you
No.
can just tuck it away. And it lasts for
Guys,
a really long time. I mean,
It lasts forever.
Yeah.
Listen, you have our permission to try it. We fully endorse you to go ahead and treat yourself to more, deeper, fuller pleasure wherever you can find it and as often as possible. And you can start with a bottle or two of Foria. Also, guys, great gift for any of your friends or your sisters or anyone that you love in your life. Foria is offering a special deal for our listeners. Get 20% off your first order by visiting foriawellness.com/best or use code BEST at the checkout. That's Foria, Foria, wellness.com/best for 20% off your first order. Listen, we recommend trying the Awaken Arousal Oil and the Sex Oil together. You're going to thank us. Meanwhile, I do have to say, my friend just sent me this article from Esquire. Ashton Kutcher has been through it, and I just wrote back, has he?
oh my gosh.
All right, I mean, I think we need to let's, you know what I mean, guys? Like, let's
mean,
just take it down a notch.
Yeah, I don't know what he's been through, but
Well, let's just find out. He survived tabloid scrutiny. Okay. His own asshole behavior. And more recently, a harrowing medical scare. Okay, fine.
All right.
Now the actor turned investor, rich and happy at home, is making his return to Hollywood. So, I mean,
All
listen,
right. What was the medical scare? What
I don't know.
happened?
I'm not going to read the article.
You're not
but
gonna
like,
read
you know what I
it?
mean? Like,
Yeah.
well, maybe I will. But I'm just saying
Two
lots of people have the medical scare and also.
of those things were he brought on himself. Yeah. So like, but the medical scare, like
Sucks. That
yeah,
sucks.
I wish the best.
Me too.
I wish the best for him.
He's adorable.
Speaking of medical stuff, your guy, Mr. Beast, did you see what he
the
did?
fuck was that? No, what was that? I saw him on something and somebody was like, this is fucking insane. And I was like, honestly, I can't even look.
Well, here's what I learned from Mr. Beast from this video. You know, Mr. Beast is like this internet character, like a YouTuber.
I've talked about him before, guys.
Just refreshing people's memories in case they haven't caught up. A lot of kids, young people, not kids, a lot of young people, a lot of people just love him. He does stunts, like these grand stunts.
Huge stunts.
and-
he did the thing, remember guys, I talked about, he like recreated
Squid Game.
Squid Games.
Right. And people win a lot of money and he gives away all kinds of incredible stuff. And so, you know, people love it and he has a huge following. He paid to cure 1,000 people of blindness because what I didn't know, according to this video, I haven't like fact checked it or whatever. 50% of blindness worldwide is curable with a simple operation that's like 10 to 15 minutes long. If only they had the means to get the operation. That includes
Right. And like, let me just guess. Insurance doesn't cover it.
I mean, I'm guessing since, you know, I'm familiar enough as like a citizen of the United States, I'm guessing some insurances cover it, some don't. Some people don't have insurance at all. But worldwide, a lot of people don't have access to this surgery. So anyway, he did this video where he took some people in the United States, also people throughout the world, and paid for 1,000 people to have this operation. And he also donated $100,000 so that they could do more operations. And it was really interesting. I did not realize that like such a significant portion of people who are legally blind, it could be easily taken care of. I did not realize that at all.
I had no idea.
I had never heard that. And then some people were like, this is great. This is amazing. And Mr. Beast kind of like did a tweet, like, because I guess he was getting some heat for it, where he was like, people with a lot of money should spend their money to, you know, to help people. And then I do this thing and people are like, Mr. Beast is horrible. And so, you know, there's obviously criticism of it.
Here's what I'm going to say. I mean, are any of the 1,000 people bummed?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean,
Like, do they feel exploited or do they feel like it was
right,
gross?
right,
Because, I mean,
yeah,
I would ask them.
yeah,
I wouldn't, it like isn't actually up to anyone else to be the arbiter. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch it.
right,
And I kind of agree with him. Like, I think that, look, to be totally honest, most people do selfless acts or like
Yeah.
seemingly selfless acts for selfish reasons.
right, right,
Whether or not this is like art friend-ish, you know, a Jace. Like, maybe whether or not you're looking for content for your YouTube page.
yeah,
Or it makes you feel like you're not a monster, or you're trying to fill a hole in your soul because you never got enough love when you were a child. I don't fucking know.
or you just have like
Or
this
you genuinely-
world view that you
Right, that's what I'm saying.
spread.
Or you genuinely are like, I want to do this thing. Like, fine.
Yeah.
You're allowed to, you know, and
Yeah.
and we do say that about billionaires.
Right.
And by the way, he's not a billionaire. But like,
right,
we do say all the time that the people who could really help kind of like do nothing. They
Right.
just fly in their, like, especially the men, they just like fly in their little spaceships to space.
To space and, you know, or ruining a social media platform.
Or they like for like shits and giggles, like
Yeah.
purchase a social media platform and ruin it. But here's a dude who's like increasing. I will say I've noticed because, you know, we've known Mr. Beast has been on the radar for many years from in my house. I have noticed, like, you know, from the early vids to now, he's like, it's definitely gone towards a direction where, like, even when it's like fun stuff, he still is trying to like get rid of money, give it to people who deserve it, adopt dog. Like the one that he like where they like emptied the entire shelter, the dog shelter.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like a kill shelter.
Yeah.
They like basically went and like got every dog adopted. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
are they gimmicky and are they like getting views? 100%. And
Right.
like, it's kind of entertainment. Sure. Would I rather my children be watching entertainment of a guy helping people out in a way that's like fun?
Yeah.
And-
like, I mean, when we were
I mean-
kids compared to like what was on the internet when we were kids that people were watching for like quote unquote entertainment, it wasn't great. You know?
I didn't have the internet when I was a kid.
Well, when we were young, but like, you know, a lot of not great stuff, a lot of harmful stuff. So
Well, there's still a lot of harmful stuff.
Yes,
I'm like,
yes.
I'm just saying, like, Mr. Beast specifically really appeals to young men.
yeah.
And I know Cricket likes him, but that's, you know, Cricket's vibe is like a skater, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Always.
No, yeah. I think if he's
But
like,
like
inspiring,
young kids, like young boys,
Yes.
like my friends, 2 boys are obsessed with Mr.
Yeah.
Beast. They like went and waited in line 4 hours in New Jersey to meet him.
yeah.
And I would just, guys, I don't know, much prefer this guy having the ear of young dudes,
Yeah.
as opposed to
An Andrew Tate or
an Andrew Tate or,
Yeah.
I mean, a number of other
Yeah.
gamers who are
Yeah.
misogynistic and gross and
Yeah.
like bad.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I am still a fan. I
Yeah.
think it's kind of rad.
I think it's good. The one criticism that I was like, okay, I'll give it is that they were like, you know, the video didn't touch on why this is the case, why so many people can't get this surgery. But I'm like, okay, then it's on you to like go and find that out. Like like Mr. Beast isn't like an educational edutainment channel, you know? So then if you're curious
He's
about
not Bill Nye, the
Right.
science guy.
If
He's
you're-
like a guy who's figured out how to make millions and millions of dollars on his videos on YouTube.
Right.
And he turns it around and gives away like a ton of it.
a ton of it. So if you're curious about that, you're right on the internet. Go look it up. Look up why people can't get this eye surgery. Then the argument that like this is like misery porn or whatever, you know, that like we shouldn't be watching these videos. They're not heartwarming. They're a problem. Well, I think that there's a case for both. Like, I think that it's the situation where someone can't get this surgery is not heartwarming. It's tragic and shitty. And yes, we should pay some attention to that. But the video itself of someone having the situation immediately relieved for them, that is heartwarming. And I'm glad that like those people didn't seem miserable, as you said, in that moment, having this done. And also Mr. Beast, without making content out of this stuff, he doesn't exist. He couldn't have accomplished this if he
Couldn't have afforded
Right.
to pay for
if he wasn't
all of it.
a content creator. So that's just how he's doing it.
Correct.
But anyway, so that was interesting. And then a huge portion of my week was also consumed with another internet drama about
What?
the mascara. Do you know about this?
No, what mess? Oh,
My
I do know
girl
about this.
Michaela, who I love, Michaela Nagara, TikToker, makeup guru, also millions of followers, also massively successful, did an ad for, because that's normal to do ads when you're an
Honey,
influencer.
come to my channel.
Yeah, there you go. But she did a mascara advertisement where she was like, I can't believe this mascara is life-changing, whatever. And people accused her of wearing falsies in the last shot. And so people have just been coming for her. And it's really, I never thought that I would witness such in-depth Zapruder film level dissection of a mascara scandal in my life. But it really, it's been a journey.
So did she wear fake eyelashes?
If I'm being honest, it did look to me like she might have had like at least a couple individual clumps glued in there, maybe.
Like, does she have like extensions?
She doesn't.
Oh, and is the claim that it was just all the mascara that like built the lash that long?
Here's the weird thing, and not to get Zapruder film level myself, it looked to me like she was wearing a couple individual lashes on one eye and then on the other eye not at all. And so I even wondered, was she trying to do a demonstration of like how good the one eye looked versus the eye that had like a few individual lashes glued on it, like that you could get as good a result almost. But then I'm like really splitting hairs and I'm trying to defend her.
You're trying to make it make sense for you because you love her.
Because I love her. Yeah.
And also, I mean, I don't fucking know. Maybe it was just a mistake.
Yeah. And as many people pointed out, and maybe you could shed some light on this, many people were like, I'm pretty sure the brand would have had to okay the video before she posted it.
Well, listen, I have to every fucking time send those things. You saw my Hotel Tonight video yesterday on Instagram. My hair is totally different. And that is because most of these things are done a long time in advance.
Right.
And you have to get it approved. And even like just videos like Instagram stories and stuff.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I told Christy I would, my friend Christy Stryker, who's done my eyebrows for years, came out with like her own line of stuff this week. And when I was in LA and I saw her, I did a video with her and I've been holding it. And then I totally forgot about it. And then she texted and was like, I hate to do this. Did you post that video? And I was like, yes. But then I forgot. And then I forgot again.
Well, write it down.
Just
write it down.
now.
But anyway, my heart goes out to Michaela because I don't think that her entire career should be ruined over this thing that like, it just seemed like people were waiting for her to fuck up. And sometimes it's just like that. And I feel like I've been that girl. I'm going
to say, but that's what I'm going to say. Like sometimes it's just like that. Sometimes you just fuck up. And like, but like, I guess it's all in the after, right? Like, I don't know. But also like the internet's so weird. And like, you never know what people are going to be like okay with.
Right.
Like apology wise. I'm serious.
Right.
Like,
no, I agree.
And, like, I was so shocked. Oh, also, again, pop culture, as we're just talking pop culture this week, but I have other things to say too.
Okay.
I was truly floored that Louis C.K. sold out Madison Square Garden and played Madison Square. I could not fucking believe it.
Were you?
I saw that over the weekend.
You were shocked by that?
Well, I was shocked by a few things. I was shocked by it because I didn't know he could do that before everyone knew he was a scumbag, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, a little bit you have to understand, Casey. Like, I don't understand people going to like a stadium to watch someone do stand-up.
Right.
Like, to me, that seems unhinged.
Yeah. I would argue that he's probably better able to do it now than before.
Well, that's what I was going to say because he's like done that weird thing, that leaning in. Did we discuss that it needs a name?
No, I don't know. I mean, like leaning into your badness.
Well, yeah. Did we talk about this?
I don't
Who
think
was I talking
so.
about this with?
I don't know.
Oh, Jenny Connor.
Oh,
was
okay.
like, I feel like there needs to be a name when people try to embrace, like, oh no, maybe it was Mark. Guys, I don't know who I was talking. I've talked to a lot of fucking people this week. But someone in my life and
Yeah.
I were talking about this, where it's like,
Yeah.
there needs to be a term. Like there's cancel culture is a term, right?
Yeah.
There needs to be the term for people who actively seek out those who have been canceled and or accused of terrible behavior.
Right. Support that
And
become supporters
supporting-
based on that.
Based on the fact that they're terrible people, based on the
Right.
fact that they're like horrible, despicable, like people.
Yeah.
There's like a whole thing now. I mean, and I was like, it's like the deplorable defenders or whatever, and they're like,
Right. Right.
whoever it was, Mark, Jenny, whoever it was, didn't love that pitch. But I'm like, I don't know. I actually don't know, but it is an interesting thing because it's like, and I wondered if there had been any sort of like psychological, like, you know, Psychology Today articles, or like, have there been any articles about the psychology of that thing?
Yeah,
Like-
about how everyone who's ever done anything despicable, even like just regular people, are now basically like celebrities to those people. Like a Kyle Rittenhouse or, you know.
I mean, and Kyle Rittenhouse, who we've talked about way too much today.
Right.
Fuck that guy. Ew. Gross.
But like
Fucking hate that guy.
he probably makes a living off of being who he is. And
Oh, for sure. And
He's-
he definitely embraces it. Right? Like,
oh,
he's like,
100%.
yes. Mhm.
He's like, has a whole, you know, he's a little media machine.
It's deeply
But
upsetting.
yeah, we do need a name for it. But yeah,
But what kind of name would it even be?
I don't know. We can just call them
It's really
flies because they like go to shit.
to shit. That is the fucking best. They're flies. Oh, Louis C.K. has got a bunch of flies. Fuck yes, Casey. You nailed it.
Oh my gosh. That was surprising. I mean, it wasn't surprising to me. It surprised me a little bit because it's New York City, but then I'm like, no, because it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. People don't fucking care. And there's like, so you have everyone. You have everyone that was originally a fan that felt kind of creepy about it, but was just like waiting it out until they felt like it was okay to like go back to liking him.
Whatever. I liked his jokes at one point, and then I
Right.
heard what a fucking garbage person he was behind the scenes.
And then you have
And
people
I was
that
like, oh, I don't need that.
right. Then
You
you
know?
have people that became fans like based on, you know, feeling like he was being persecuted. And then you have people who are like, you know, also kind of, well, I guess it kind of fits the first category where people are like, he's paid enough for his sins. And so like, it's time to move on or whatever. And I'm like, but he didn't really pay anything. And also like have the people that he victimized been able to move on. Like that's the most important, but nobody cares. Nobody cares. And that is, you know, also sickening.
Well, the flies don't give a shit.
The flies
Because
don't.
they're like, they
the
love to be
flies-
down in that shit.
Flies don't give a shit. Flies don't give a shit. And then, yeah, I mean, you know, what else? Marie Kondo said she kind of gave up on being neat since she has 3 kids, and people are like coming for her as well. And I'm like,
Guys, everybody cool it.
calm down. All she said was like, just fucking straighten up your house and get rid of the stuff that you don't want. She never like came into your house and set your books on fire. Calm down. Of course she's giving up on being tidy a little bit. She has 3 kids. And I bet that her house is 50 billion times tidier than mine is.
I
At
also
this
just
moment.
I also just think Marie is fucking rad for even saying that.
Yeah.
Because do you know how many people would be like, I do still keep it tight. I keep it so anything that doesn't spark joy is out. And she's
Yeah.
like, no, actually, guess what? Upon reflection, yeah, I've let things slide. I have 3 kids. Life's hard.
They have toys.
I work a lot.
Right.
There's toys, shit. And I now I understand a little bit more. And instead of people just being like, that's kind of amazing for a person to be able to admit that, maybe their view was a little bit narrow
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
they had a different experience in their life
Yeah.
and it changed their view of their job and the thing that they promote, which is like organization and cleanliness and getting rid of stuff. And it's not like she's saying she's like throwing it all away. She's just like, it's not as easy as I thought. It, it with the 3 kids.
Right.
Instead, people are like, ha ha, fucking idiot. Like, what is wrong with everyone?
It's wild. And here
Marie Kondo, I still love you, and I have never gotten rid of one thing.
Exactly.
And I love her. I love her.
It's
but
like
I'm just like
such a calming show. And listen,
Yes.
it is good for your soul to purge things, I believe. And if you don't
100%.
believe that, if you want to save every book you ever touched, every book you ever laid eyes on, and eventually die being crushed by your piles of books that you love so much, great, do that. I'm not mad at you. I'm not going to make you give those books away. But like by the same token, you have to calm down about people that don't keep every book that they've ever laid eyes on. People that arrange their books by rainbow order. Settle down on that as well. It's like no sweat.
yeah, what's it to fucking you?
It's no sweat off your boobs. What people do with their books. Marie Kondo never showed up and forced someone to organize their house via knife point, but via knife point, by knife point either. But
Or
it's just
via.
And then people are like, oh, but she cashed in. She had all these organizational tools. Here's a point I would like to make. I watched every episode of Marie Kondo's show because it is very calming. And I, too, didn't clean my house ever after watching a show, was never that inspired to clean my house. So that's how casual it all was. But she was not making people go out and buy all these containers and things to organize things like so many shows do. She was showing people how to cut down cereal boxes and detergent boxes and everything to organize their drawers. So yes, did she sell some things at like the Container Store or whatever if you want like a super fancy thing in your drawers? Yes, everybody does that. But also you could have done it with detergent and cereal boxes like she always said to do on the show. Everybody's wrong about Marie Kondo who doesn't like her, and they need to settle down and not go so hard on this woman who
On a woman
Yes.
who has like built a business and was good at it.
yeah.
And then was able to admit her own short-sightedness in terms of when you have multiple children, it's real fucking hard.
It's not as easy. Yeah. And then one day they'll be 12 and like her house will go back to being,
Oh shit.
whatever.
Or
Anyway.
it'll be whatever it'll be. It doesn't matter. Like I just am like, hey, everybody's
like-
gotta.
I think when people go so hard on Marie Kondo, it says a lot about them and nothing about Marie. That I know we say that a lot. Like when people say that, it's about them and not about you. Mm-hmm. But it's never been more true than in the case of Marie Kondo. People that are like you're just spitting up your own issues all down the front of your own shirt when you go so hard on Marie Kondo, and everyone can see it, and you should just reflect,
I think you should take that moment instead of tweeting it out. You should just take that moment for yourself
Yeah.
and reflect. I think that's actually the most valuable advice, Case.
Just get on with your lives.
Just get on with your life.
With your as many books as you want.
You know what? Exactly. I have multiple copies of the same book.
Me too.
Listen,
And no one ever made
I don't
me.
care. No,
here's
I'm not.
Here's what I will say.
I've hired professional organizers. And
And
they're
it's
like,
still
are
the
you sure you
same.
need 2 of these? And
Yes.
I'm like, I do. I actually do. Thank you.
Here's what I will say. Based on the backlash to Marie Kondo's announcement, to her revelation, I feel like you and I should pitch a show where we go to people's houses and put tons of stuff in them, because people apparently love shit and they love having so much shit that they don't have enough shit. And like, so maybe that's, and maybe we can sell shit in the Container Store that doesn't even really do anything. And people will be like psyched about it because,
Well, we can sell shit to hold the other shit,
yeah, exactly.
but not actual shit like Louis C.K.
Yes, different category of shit.
We're not flies.
Yeah, no,
No,
it's
we're not flies.
It's a no-fly zone over here. But I think that, maybe that's like a little show that we could do where we're just like, hey, we know you love stuff. We brought you 100% more stuff. You won't even know what you have because we're going to shove so much stuff in your house. Happy?
Yeah. I love stuff.
I do too.
You know I've always loved stuff though.
Yeah.
Stuff reminds me of things. I have stuff here from childhood.
Yeah.
I have stuff here from last week.
Yeah. I love
I
I
have
love
stuff here from
stuff.
today. I did buy something new.
What did you buy?
Well, Casey, I realized that here in Casa Kismet,
Yeah.
when I'm sitting here at this desk, I realized this when we were doing press for our live shows, guys.
Because we have a live show on Friday in San Francisco. Have you gotten your tickets yet?
Are you coming?
It's at the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco.
And then we're going to be in Boston at another theater,
The Wilbur.
the Wilbur. And then we're going to be at the NJ Pack on February 11th. Anyway, the point being,
We want you to come.
we do want you to come.
We want
But
you
we were doing some press last week for the show. And so I'm here, Casa Kiz. And I was like kind of putting makeup on. I didn't realize that those were on camera. I guess I didn't read that email. You know me.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Kirsten had just started. So
Yeah.
now we would be on it.
On top of it.
But I realized I don't have like a little mirror at this desk
Okay.
here to like slap on some mascara,
Sure.
whatever, some lipstick. And I was just kind of like using my phone, which is never the best.
It doesn't really work. It's like something's off. It's too Black Mirror-y,
It's too Black Mirror. It's not
shouldn't-
right.
Yeah, you shouldn't use a video feed to try to do anything.
So anyway, there was this little mirror on Anthropology that I liked.
Oh, I love
and
that.
I bought it. It looks like a little hand holding a mirror.
So cute.
And I purchased it so I can look at my little face and put on makeup if need be. For instance, right now I don't have any makeup on, but I don't need to put makeup on because
it's just you and me.
it's just us chickens.
Yeah, I do have makeup on. I don't know why.
Listen, you know what? Sometimes it makes you feel nice.
I just put it on,
Yeah, sounds great. I might put on that brow gel that I was talking about.
Do it. Yeah. What else is happening? Oh, here's a cute thing. Our friend Seth Rudetsky, who did our QVC special with us, he had a real moment this week. It won't mean anything to you, I don't think, Busy, but I think you'll also appreciate it, is that the show The Last of Us, which is really popular right now, everybody's talking about it. It's kind of like a zombie invasion show, but it's based on a video game, and the twist is that the people are zombies because of like mushrooms, like they have internal mushrooms and not in a good way. But there was a really moving episode this week, I believe episode 3, and which featured Nick Offerman, who I love so much. He's such a kind person.
And Marie.
I think. Yes, and Murray Bartlett, who is in everything now. Literally every show I watch right now has Murray Bartlett from season 1 of The White Lotus. He was like the manager of the hotel. But
Fucking genius.
Yeah,
he's so genius. He's also been
genius.
working for literally a million years.
Yeah,
He like had been in everything. You just didn't really know it.
Yes.
And
But
now
he's in
really
he's in everything that I'm currently watching, and he's so fantastic in everything. But anyway, this week they had a really great episode starring those two gents, and it sort of like went off the path of like the story. It was like, you know, it was an
I've heard.
it was
I've heard.
an outlier,
Like a bottle episode.
like a
So-
bottle episode, but even featuring like different characters than the main characters. So we had Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett. But the reason Seth is having a moment is because the episode hinges around the Linda Ronstadt song "Long, Long Time." Do you know that song? And I think I'm gonna love you
No.
for a long, long time. Anyway, the showrunner gave this interview to Vulture where he was talking about the process of the show. And he said that, and you know, I don't think this is a spoiler alert, but if you're super scared of spoilers and you haven't watched it yet, hit pause and go watch it. He said that he was looking for a song that could be played on piano both really badly and excellently, and he was researching all these songs and he couldn't think of anything, and he was like, I know, I'm going to text my friend Seth Rudetsky. So he texted Seth and said, I need a song that's about like just longing, like pain over love, and that can be played on piano both badly and very well. And he said 30 seconds later, Seth was like, Long, Long Time by Linda Ronstadt. That's your song. And so the guy listened to the song and was like, yes, this is it. Like Seth is like he is like Shazam. He's like an encyclopedia of music. He just knows everything. And so anyway, that was the title of the episode, and the song was pivotal, and everyone is just going nuts for this episode of TV. And I think I read that Long, Long Time by Linda Ronstadt like is getting streamed
like number one on Spotify.
it's like it's like a real like
it's like Kate Bush.
a Kate Bush moment again. And I believe that Linda Ronstadt is like, she's getting on in years, and I believe that she has some health issues. So anyway, I just hope that she's able to feel how much people love that song. She's
So great.
I have such a soft spot in my heart for her because she certainly came on shows that I worked on, and she was always like really delightful. And I always would get so excited because my dad dug Linda Ronstadt so much, and my dad was such a music snob. So if he like was into someone that wasn't the Beatles, like I really paid attention. And so it made me so happy to be able to report back to my dad that Linda Ronstadt was like a gem and so sweet. And that is not her only banger. I'm going to recommend, if you're not super familiar with Linda Ronstadt, I'm going to recommend to everyone to go check her out. Biz, I think you would like dig almost everything she ever did in her life.
I mean, I have definitely heard Linda Ronstadt before, but I'm not well versed. So I'll do a little bit of a deep dive.
I'm going to recommend.
I'll get in there.
Long, Long Time is a heartbreaker. It's such a heartbreaker. But I'm going to also recommend that you personally check out Blue Bayou. That I just think that you will love it and you'll want to sing it.
Okay. Well, we do have those live shows coming up.
Maybe. Who knows? Or maybe there'll be some other song that speaks to you. But yeah, Linda Ronstadt deserves the shine. And also Seth does too. I was so happy to see him name checked.
Okay. So this brings up a sad thing that then was also a thing that I was like, oh my goodness. But I don't know. And it's like, I don't know. I'm just going to say it, and then you'll tell me if it's like not kind and we should take it out.
Okay.
But you know that Cindy Williams
Yes.
passed away.
Yeah.
From Laverne and Shirley, guys. And she was amazing.
Shirley Feeney from Laverne and Shirley.
And lots of people were posting just like memories of her, how kind she was, people who had worked with her or whatever, you know, people who
Yeah.
were friends with her, or just were fans. You posted about her.
Yes.
You loved her.
Yes.
Big fan. And she was always kind to you. So Nancy Myers, do you follow her on Instagram?
I don't follow her on Instagram.
Okay. So Nancy Myers, guys, is the like woman who's the director and writer of like lots of those movies. If you don't know, I'm just going to
If you've
explain
ever
it as
seen
if you don't know.
a movie
But-
with a grand kitchen.
and Diane Keaton.
Yeah, and
Like any of those movies, like Something's Gotta Give.
Yeah.
Like Almost Made It or whatever. You know, like
I love that you have like you just invented a fun category of coming up with fake Nancy Meyers movies.
yeah, like Cooking It Up, you know, whatever.
Baby Boom,
Like,
Father of the Bride.
yeah, exactly.
What
Okay.
women want.
She posted this thing. I guess they were friends, but she posted this thing that was like, what many people don't know is that it was actually Cindy's idea to reboot Father of the Bride. She was watching the original and she called me and was like, you've got to remake this and you should do it this way. And like, you know, she never asked for credit or anything, a rarity in Hollywood. And I was like, bitch, you made $4 billion fucking dollars on Father of the Bride and Father of the Bride 2. Throw her some fucking credit and then she dies and you're like, what most people don't know is that it was all her idea. It wouldn't have happened without her.
Nobody would know if you had never.
No one would. But like, am I just being an asshole? But like, she's saying it in this way. Like it feels like she's so unaware of the fact that she's like outing herself as the fucking Hollywood asshole.
Because like,
Do you know what I'm saying?
Because Cindy,
I'm not saying she is. I don't know.
No. Yeah, we don't know. But like, you have to understand that like Cindy Williams, for as like iconic as she was, she didn't act in a lot of things, and like being the star of a show back in the 70s and 80s, like it didn't make you rich the way like the cast of Friends became rich, you know? So I'm gonna have to guess that like Cindy Williams's financial situation versus Nancy Meyers is probably very different. I don't know, but I'm guessing that they were. But I think like maybe, you know what? I think that Nancy Meyers sees everything. I don't know Nancy Meyers. But I'm thinking that she sees everything through a very gauzy, romantic lens in real life as well as in film.
Okay, I'm going to read it.
Yeah, read it.
So sad to hear about Cindy Williams. What few people know is that it was Cindy's idea to remake Father of the Bride. She told me she was watching the Spencer Tracy version on TV one night, and she thought it would be a great movie for me to remake, and she made it happen. She changed the course of my life and many others with that idea. She never took credit for being responsible for that. Pretty unusual in Tinseltown. With a heart. And I'm like, but why didn't you give her credit until she died?
Oh my gosh.
Am I wrong?
I don't.
I'm such a credit bitch, guys. This is the perfect intersection of things like, for me, right?
Yeah.
Like, and everyone's like, oh, that's how humility works, Nan. Good of you to honor her in this way. Thank you for sharing this story. Hearts. She seemed like a wonderful person. What a legacy. Wow, I had no idea. Love that you're giving her credit and supporting others.
Oh my God, it's so interesting. Because like Cindy Williams wasn't in Father of the Bride, was she? She didn't even like get a role. She didn't write the screenplay. Maybe she had no interest. Maybe she didn't want to. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe do people do this to you all the time? People do. Because I'm a writer, like someone's dad will always like tell me a joke and then be like, you can use that one. It's free. You can take that one for your sketches. And I'm like, okay. So maybe Cindy Williams was like, you can use that one, Nan. You can take this idea and run with it. But,
she probably did. To be fair, she probably totally did.
Yeah.
But also like Father of the Bride was like a massive hit, and it does seem wild that like she never mentioned it in any press. Like what most people don't know.
Wild.
Like I just can't even imagine doing the press tour where you're not like, oh my God, my friend Cindy Williams, the actress, called me up and was like, Nan, you got to do it. You know what I mean? I know this is my thing, obviously.
Right.
I know this is my trauma.
Right.
Little T trauma, guys. Little T
trauma.
Like trauma about not getting credit for an idea for work that I've done in this
Right.
business as a woman, as an actress,
Right.
blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But like truly, I mean, yeah. So I'm like coming at it from my credit bitch mentality, but like it just made me kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, wow. Oh, interesting. Okay.
It is
Wild.
It is interesting. Huh. I wonder. We'll never know. We'll never know if Cindy Williams was like, what the fuck?
No, because she waited until
No, I know,
After
but
she had passed
like
away?
Cindy Williams knew that the Father of the Bride movie got made. Like, I wonder if she was ever like, what the fuck? Like, I could have been the mom in it. I could have been the aunt. I could have been something.
or just like something.
Or like
Or you could have just talked about it in press.
story, but I don't know, or like a story credit, but maybe she didn't want it. I don't know, but that's so interesting. Let me just say this. If I ever, to any of our friends listening, if I ever give you an idea, I do want credit and I do want to get
Well, I
hired.
guess that comes back to just let's make it about
Like
us because that's what this podcast is. We want credit, guys.
Yeah,
we
I would like
credit.
I would like to get some money
We'd
or
like some
a credit or to be hired to work on it. I mean,
Correct.
I've had that experience before where something like kind of big was based on like an idea that I had and I was told that like I was gonna, fucking work on it and then couldn't get anyone to take my calls. That thing then failed miserably, which I believe is like a karmic, debt that the people suffered for what they did. But,
Well, it's really because you're a witch. Let's be honest.
but I mean, it's interesting.
Karma's my boyfriend too, Casey. You know what I mean? Call it what you will. Witchcraft, witchery, karma.
Whatever
it is
you
what
wanna,
it is.
Whatever you want to call it.
If you fucking cross us, you better fucking watch your back. That's all I'm gonna say.
Should we talk to our guest?
Yeah, he is just delightful. I'm very excited to see his new movie and make out to it.
Yes. You'll
But
understand that.
you're gonna understand that and more after our interview with actor extraordinaire Adam Pally. So Casey,
Yes.
listen. On my little board of things that I'm planning to do in 2023, my vision board, if
Your
you will,
vision board.
get back into regular meditation. And I was like, how am I going to make this happen for myself? And then guess what?
Did you get open?
I got open.
I think it's such a good goal for 2023, and open makes it so easy to meditate every day.
Well, they have this thing called Our Daily Meditation, which is new. It's like a new thing that they have on the app. It's part wisdom, part practice, and it's kind of just amazing. They also like have an emphasis on music that enhances the breath work,
Love
which
that.
is incredible. And here's what, for me, why I put that on my like 2023 wishes for myself.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that when I make it a priority to take that 10 minutes, 5 minutes, sometimes if I have it, like
Right.
20 minutes if I've got that, to do this meditation, I just feel like more grounded, more centered.
Right.
Guys, we really, really like it. Open is a mindfulness app that is built to transform your life, and it combines breath work and meditation and sound and movement, and it strengthens your mind-body connection. Join us on Open. Use our code for 30 days. Go to www.withopen.com/best to sign up. You're going to get 30 days for free when you go to withopen.com/best. Bass. Give me that bass. Guys, I've been seeing so much Base in airports.
Me too.
Oh, Base is having a moment, honey.
Yes.
Get your Base.
Well, that's why you keep seeing it. It's because they are legitimately really great bags. Everything you need, nothing you don't. And they just work really well.
I mean, honestly, my favorite thing, the Weekender bag, I cannot tell you enough to get this bag. I love the separate shoe compartment. Just
Yes.
get my shoes, don't get my clothes dirty. They fit down there. I also love that it was created by an actress, Shay Mitchell. We love a pivot, Shay.
Yes, Shay.
Shay, who's like, I am traveling a lot for work and I hate all of this luggage. So you know what? I'm going to make my own. And she did. And it's brilliant. And it's beautiful.
Really thoughtfully designed and chic.
They've got a built-in weight indicator, washable bags for your dirty clothes, 360-degree gliding wheels, a cushioned handle. Come on. Guys.
The way that rolly bag rolls is so like I'm the person that always looks like an idiot in the airport because my rolly bag it's like driving a stick shift or something. But
It has a mind of its own.
a mind of its
Used
own.
to.
Yes. And so this Base bag just wheels along, no problem, and stands up to everything. And I just feel so much cooler, to be honest.
The luggage comes in multiple sizes and colors. And like I said, for shorter trips, guys, get that Weekender bag. It is my fave. Right now, Base is offering our listeners 15% off your first purchase by visiting basetravel.com/best. That's basetravel.com/best, BEISTRAVEL.com/best for 15% off your first purchase. Go to basetravel.com/best.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to have you here. I swear I walked past you last week, I think. And I was like maybe crying. And it was downtown.
Oh yeah, you totally could have. I was I went to dinner with my cousin last week down there at this like new French restaurant. It was called Frenchette. My cousin works in fashion.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I tried to go there with someone last week too. That's funny, but I didn't get a reservation, so I didn't go.
Yeah, we didn't get a reservation either. We went to the bar for like an unneeded amount of time, like 2 hours waiting at the bar. But it's like, you know, when you see your cousin, it's like I knew I was going to see my cousin, so it was like it's fine. It's like I'll take the time, and I had the night away from the kids was fine. But we ended up eating at like 11. It was one of those like New York.
Oh, I would be asleep. Yeah.
I was a goner. I was a total goner. But you definitely might have walked by me.
I think we walked by each other.
7 p.m. I was like lost a little because I was like, is this on Varick or is this on like, I don't know where I was. And I was wearing like a trench coat and it was like blowing in the wind behind me. I feel like.
And it was like, I was like really bundled up and I had like, my hair was like all back and I like actually looked like a crazy person, I think.
No,
so
come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, I really think
Busy.
so. I think so.
I think you probably looked like Busy Phillips. People would have been like, oh, Busy Phillips. Oh, she's not happy today.
She's going through something.
She's in
I
it.
have to say, it is a weird thing about living here because I lived in LA for so many years. Like, you really do just have all of your emotions on the street.
Yeah, you don't have that buffer of the car to be like upset. I notice it the most with my kids. Like when I like take my kids to school or something, they'll be like being horrible, and you can't like react the way you would in LA because in LA you'd be like, get in the fucking car, get in the car,
Right?
And then you get you know what I mean, and then you get them in the car and you'd be like, you know, do your parent thing. But like in New York, you have to be like, I had a fight with my daughter the other day. I was like, put your jacket on. She's like, no. And she was just like holding it. She's like, and I was like, put your jacket on. And she was like, no. and it was like in the middle of the street. And I was like, oh God, this is going to be horrible. Like, not only the other parents going to see me like arguing with a 9-year-old girl about wearing a jacket, but like, God forbid someone walked by and was like, whoa, Adam Pally's freaking out and his daughter. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, and I wasn't. I was just like, it's so hard to get a 9-year-old girl to put on her jacket.
No kidding. Well, you
It's
know,
like
I actually have a 9-year-old girl as well, and it's weirdly impossible.
It's impossible. It's like,
why are they going through, like, is it a kind of menopause that happens like
It's a
before
pre-pause?
period?
Yeah.
May
don't know.
I offer?
Yeah.
Please,
I didn't
anything.
have girls, but when my kids were that age, they refused to wear jackets as well. And I'm from the let them learn school of parenting. I was like,
Yeah.
Well, I've done that with Cricket,
know
but
what?
like, to be honest, she never puts it on.
Yeah.
And then she just gets a
Yeah.
stuffy nose.
well, you can't
That's-
get a
and
stuffy
I-
nose from being cold. That's from something else.
I think that's not
It's
right.
not.
I
think
also
you can.
I also am wary, and this is my own thing, and my wife would admonish me for it, which is true. But I also feel pressure from the other parents.
Yes.
Well, of course.
So like, and I do think they judge us, and I do think they're extra hard on us.
Yes.
But like, I will, like, if Gigi's not putting on her jacket, another parent will, like, this is New York City. They have no problem being like, it's cold out. You might want to button up.
Yeah. So
But-
true.
You know, like on the walk by.
Can I
and
ask
you're like,
you a question?
"Ugh."
If another parent says it, will she put her jacket on, or will she say no to that
No,
parent?
she doesn't give a fuck
See?
about that parent.
You know what?
She doesn't give a
I
fuck.
like this girl because
yeah,
when
she's got moxie.
later
she's great.
she won't
She's
she
great.
won't put her jacket on now. She won't put her jacket on now. But when she's 13 and someone's like, you might want to shoplift something with me, she will also say no.
God, I
Oh,
hope so.
that's-
Or she's the
I-
one
I
that's
hope
like,
so
you
too.
know, if you shoplift, you get it for free.
Maybe. I just think I like a strong-willed kid because it means that they're their own person. And I used to tell myself this too. Every time my kid is like, oh no, I'm not doing that to me. That means that when they're older, they'll say to somebody, oh no, I'm not doing that. That's trying to, like, someone that's trying to pressure them into doing something.
I love and appreciate your optimism, and I'm going to stick with that in my head from now on when my daughter is like shivering outside of a school building holding a down jacket.
I'll tell you what.
Like,
I'll tell you.
holding the answer.
Yes,
you
it's
know?
so painful to watch. It's painful to watch a kid go through anything, especially something they're putting themselves through. But my kids are
Yeah.
23 and 20 now. We live in LA, and
Wow, you made it.
I mean, so far, knock wood, but we live in LA, and those fuckers wear jackets every day. Every day they have a jacket on. They love jackets now.
Well,
I do think, yeah, it does change. Is she your oldest? You guys have
no,
three, right?
We have three. We have boy, girl, boy. We had Irish twins in LA, and then when we moved back to New York,
Your wife is like a dream. Like
she is a dream. She's 100%.
she's so
a dream.
cool and like wow.
We had Irish twins in LA, and then we decided. Then I did a play, which I never thought I would do, but it ran here for a long time. So we came back here for 6 months, and then all our family was here, and the kids really liked it. And we were like, you know what? Let's just stay. And then we had a baby, and it was a nightmare.
Cute.
It was a
Oh, it
nightmare.
3 babies. Yeah, like a third little baby in New York City, unexpected, is like
Yes.
you kind of like your brain splits open. You're just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
How am
Also,
I going
though,
to...
I remember when I first moved here and I ran into you, and I had like finagled and managed to get my kids into school that was around
Yeah.
the corner from my house. And you were
It was
like,
amazing.
oh, I have 3 different drop offs that are all in different
Still do.
places and different
Still
neighborhoods.
do.
And I was like, what are you doing? And you're like, it's just how I do it.
That's the way it goes. You know, you have one kid who has one need, and so you go
Sure.
get them into that school. And then you have another kid who has another need, so you bring them to that school. And then you have one kid who you forgot you had to enroll into school, so you got to get them into any school you can. And then you find yourself for the last 4 years on the West Side Highway for the majority of your life. But you know what? Like, it could be worse. I truly enjoy that experience. I mean, I wish I was working, but I enjoy that experience.
Well, you work. You work all the time. Adam, you're never not working. What are you talking
No,
about?
I
Also,
work-
you
I
have
work.
your you have your fun show.
Yeah,
Is that what
yeah,
you call
yeah.
it? You call it your fun show? Are you still doing it? 101 places to
I
get
am
fun.
still
What is
doing
it? What's it called? Tell me what it's called again.
It's called 101 Places to Party Before You Die.
With John
Amazing.
We're waiting.
Gabris, the amazing John
John
Gabris.
Gabris,
He's an old friend
the
of mine.
greatest.
We have to get him on the podcast. Busy. He's a dream too.
Oh, he is the greatest dude.
I want to go party somewhere before I die.
Yeah, me too.
Did you
It's kind
Did you
of-
just come up with the idea so that you could like spend some weekends away from the kids and like just go party with your friend?
You know what? Like it's totally an honest question, and no, I mean that was a benefit of the idea. It worked out that way, but no, there was oddly a book that we found one day. We were like bumming around the Grove, and there was a book called 101 Places to Party Before You Die, and it was like a dude's photos. You know, it was like. It was like tongue in
I
cheek and
kinda
a little
love it, yeah.
cheesy, and it was like,
Yeah.
here are the 101 places that you gotta party before you die. And then it had like, how-to guides of like, make sure you don't gamble too hard your first night in Vegas because you'll have no money for the back of the weekend. It's like, okay, but we were like, this is kind of a funny way to get us doing bits.
Right. Like, did you
And-
watch like Dave Attell's like what was that show?
Well,
Up All Night or whatever
I
back
loved-
in it was not when we were
that
kids.
show. Yes, David Tell. I forget what it was called, but no, that was an
Up All
influence. Show.
Night.
The main influence for us was The Trip
Right.
with Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon, which is like
Love that.
oh,
I love that movie so much.
the greatest. And like we used to, when we were broke and touring like colleges and cruise ships, we would talk about how much we love that movie and do bits like that. And so we were like, what if we could do that in America? And then what we found was that we drink so hard, so much that you can't really do it in America. Like the restaurants don't even allow you to do it in America because the
Wait.
waiter is like, "Are you ready for more alcohol?" Like there is no time. So we were like, "This is kind of funny," and so we kind of were like, "What if we just did the trip but ended up like wasted the whole time?"
That's fantastic.
And it worked out. and it
And
worked
it
out.
worked
It's really heartwarming and warm, and like you don't see a lot of like male friendship that's positive. Like I feel like our relationship is not a lot of like roast. We don't like roast each other, which is something that like
Yes, I'm so grateful for that. Like you
I don't
guys
understand how that became like. I guess I
so
do
annoying.
understand Busy, and I feel like you and I are part of the responsibility for that because in the early aughts, like we were on television shows that was the whole thing, right? It was like, how do you
Right.
express friendship? It was like you razz everybody.
right.
Like I don't really do that with my friends. I'm not really like what up, ugly? Like like that. It just seems it's like
I don't
it
think that
seems-
the people that are like really roasting their friends do that either. I don't think it's
I
like
don't
what
know,
up,
but
ugly.
but
Maybe
that's
it
the
is.
truth of the matter, right? Like
No.
even if you make a joke about it and you're like, how you have a tough time with the ladies last night, handsome? It's like what you're saying is you're ugly.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. It just was never the way that me and my friends like joked with each other. So we were like, let's not do that. And then it became just like really fast paced jokes about like everything else.
I love it. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I mean, Casey and I have talked about this so much. Like, I prefer at this moment in time, especially after the last several years that we've all had,
Yes.
that like there's something just really nice about being earnest. And
Yeah. A gentler hand.
it is, but you can also be really fucking funny. You
Yes,
know, you
I
don't
don't-
have
I don't
to
think-
be. Yeah, it's
No,
not
I
like
don't
you
think they're
lose
mutually
everything.
Yeah, I think that got lost too. It's like comedy now feels like you're either on this one side of it that's like I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I'll say what I want. I'm a truth teller. Or the other side of it, which is like, I will do this joke, but I want to make sure that it is not offending everybody. And so it's like, there's got to be some sort of like, lane for the people that don't think about either.
Right.
you know, that are like,
That's you. That's you.
yeah,
That's your
me.
comedy.
Like,
I mean, I've been a comedy writer for a really long time, and I certainly have participated in my fair share of, like, you know, writing something that roasts someone on someone else's behalf.
of course.
Because that's how you had to make a living at one time. But I have also worked for really, really gentle people, and I have learned that I don't think I can ever fully enjoy someone who makes their bones like on roasting someone, because I never trust them not to turn on me. You know what I mean? I can't.
And it will. It always does. And like that's part of a roast, right? It's like we all take turns on everybody, and then I'll do it on myself. It's like we're all just like hitting each other.
Exactly.
You know? But
Right, but it does seem like the roast, but like to your point, Adam, like it seems like that culture is about a couple things. It's about being ugly and then challenging like tradish ideas of masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
Your dick is small. You can't get it up. You can't fuck. And
Gay
then on the
panic.
other gay panic. It's like
Is a
all like
huge
it's
R.
literally like all the worst things. And then on the other side of it, like I just read my friend Lisa Guerrero's book, who is the NBA, like she was the NFL, she was the first female NFL sideline reporter for 1 year for Monday Night Football. And it is like horrifying.
Yeah.
What she was subjected to. But like, and this was
What
like
a great movie.
same.
Get the rights. Get the rights.
Well, she won. I mean, I've already listen. I got to be honest with you. I love
What
her.
a great
and I've
role.
already,
Busy.
I've
What
said-
a great
I've-
role for you.
Well, I'm not Latina, so we're gonna like Gina Rodriguez would be amazing. She's
Well,
gotta go,
I
you know,
mean-
like it's like
Gina Rodriguez, Emma Stone. The list goes on and on.
sure it does.
Yeah,
It
just
really
a
does.
light roast of Emma Stone based on, you know.
That's situational. That's situational.
But like with women
I'm a
too in
hypocrite.
roasts.
I'm a hypocrite.
No, that actually
No,
was like
that
that was
wasn't.
a weird roast compliment, because it was based on, you know, something like a judgment call that Emma Stone has made. You're also saying like she's such a good actress that maybe they'd let her do it one more time, you know?
Well, yeah, it's not like I'm like, yeah. Well, first of all, I think they would. I think honestly, like Emma Stone is so in demand.
Yeah.
That I think
Sure.
the studios would go like, you want to play Black Panther?
Right, exactly. Okay.
All right, let's call Cameron Crowe and write it up. Isn't she married to a comedian? She seems like she's got a good sense.
She does have a good sense of
I
humor.
don't know who she's married to. I do know she's from Arizona because I
feel
am
like
no
I've seen
longer
her-
the most famous person from
Famous Arizonian.
Arizona.
Are
Yeah.
you where in Arizona? Busy. We've talked about this because I went to college
Scottsdale.
in Arizona.
I
Scottsdale.
know, didn't you?
Okay.
Yeah, you went to U
I was
of
in
A?
Tucson.
Yeah.
I was in Tucson, yeah. But I spent a good amount of time in Scottsdale. Scottsdale is cool. I think Scottsdale has like a cool suburban, like, it reminds me of the beginning of E.T.
Oh.
You know, even though that's Pasadena, it's like every time I'm in Scottsdale, there are kids riding BMXs through housing complexes. And you're like, I bet
That's
that's
right.
a fun way to grow up.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it wasn't great for me, but it was fine. You know, we all have our things. But I did ride my bike a lot through planned communities. That is 100%
like-
accurate.
Yeah, it feels like I don't know, the suburbs of New Jersey where I went to high school were oddly like in the shadow of New York City. I feel like, you know.
Interesting. But now you're
There's a
in New York
pressure.
City, New York City. You're raising your kids there. What is
Yes.
that like? Do you love it?
Well, I moved around a lot. My parents were I don't know if I ever showed you this. Here, I'll show you now. But my parents were lounge singers in the city when I was a kid.
Excuse me?
Yeah, and they were in a rock band that toured the Catskills called Pally and Pal. And
That's the greatest thing I've ever. Like, is it like Mohonk, like mountain house, or like?
Oh my
God, look at
gosh.
your parents.
Adam's showing us photographs of his parents in their lounge singing, like
that's their
press shots.
This is where's
that was their
where's the movie
head
about your parents? What are we doing? I'll do that
Well,
with you. I can sing.
Yeah, let's do that. So when I was a kid, most of my life was like spent. We lived in Stuyvesant Town, and I would go to like Empire Diner after school and wait for them to be done. And then when I was like 8, my dad had like a bad auditioning year. He lost like a couple ones that came like down the line, and he quit and went back to college at 28 and got into medical school in the University of Chicago. And at 30, he moved us all to Skokie for 5 years, where he went to medical school. And then when I was 14, we moved back to New Jersey so he could open a practice. So
oh my God.
Wow.
I've been around. I like, it's the Jewish version of an army kid.
Oh my gosh. That's so wild. I mean, Adam, a huge thing that we talk about with our guests is like pivots, and we're gonna get to asking you about one in your life, but that's a huge pivot that your dad.
Big pivot.
Was that, can I ask, like, as a kid, do you remember, was that hard to support? Like, did it break your brain that your dad wanted to? No? Did you know at that point that you wanted to be a performer?
I was always like a showy ham kid, you know, like there's video of me at like 5, like doing every move from Thriller and like making people watch me, you know? Right. So it's like, I definitely had that like need to be loved and watched.
Yeah.
But I think there was no like stress about the pivot because we were too young, and my dad was really excited and happy. So it was never like, it wasn't a pivot of distress. It was a pivot of like, you know, look, you can do anything whenever you want. You can do anything whenever you want. You know, was kind of the message that we were given, you know,
which is
like,
a great
go be a doctor,
message.
go be a doctor. Like,
that's a really amazing message.
Yeah, it really was. But I think psychologically, not to get too like into my own work
no, give it to
therapy,
us. Give
but
it to
us. I think around that time I developed a need to like relate to my parents, or like get extra love or attention from them. So I was like, well, I'll do the thing that they used to do, kind of, you know, and that was how I could like get their love.
Yeah.
And so then it became like, you know, from then on, I was like always going to do that, going to do this.
That's interesting. Yeah. Have you ever?
It was a bad thing. I don't think it was like.
No.
No.
Have you ever wanted to give it all up and go to medical school?
No, I don't I don't know if you believe this, but I don't think I would get in.
I don't believe it.
I have to say, I have wanted to give it all up and do something else, but then I remember that I left college my sophomore year to be on a television show, and I'm like, well, I'm fucked. I can't. There's nothing I can't.
Me too.
I can't. Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't have any other skills. I think about it a lot. Like especially when I was like struggling, which I didn't have a long struggle, but I paid my dues, and like I remember being like, I can't do anything else. I literally can't. I barely have the skills to do this. I can't like, I can't add. I can't.
I really can't.
People skills. I'm gruff. I can't write. I physically can't handwrite. I read things backwards. I can't get hired. My IQ is low. Like it would be hard.
I have no discernible skills. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even think I could do like below the line work. Like I think other unions would be like I think unions would be like, you can't hold that light, pal. Like no way, buddy. Like, come down here. Like, no, you can't dress that set. You're dressing it like a living room. It's obviously a kitchen. Get out of here. Like, I'm like, what? Like, I really, truly, this is the only thing that I have. And so I never really thought about doing anything else.
I also think, just my own personal thing in this business, the business of show business.
A show.
That,
business
like
of show.
people say it a lot. Like I hear it a lot. Like if there's anything else you can do, you should do that other thing. Like that, you know what I mean? Like it never occurred to me to have a backup plan until it was too late, because I was just like, there's no choice. Like I have to do this thing. This is the thing I have to do.
Right.
I was given
and then,
I was given the funniest version of that speech ever in my life when I was like, I guess probably 20. I was interning and like basically throwing garbage out at the Upright Citizens Brigade. and they used to do this thing every year called the Del Close Marathon, where like they would have it would be like 24 hours, and then it became a whole weekend. It was like 24 hours of improv, and you could take special classes with people. And if you were an intern, you had a special leg up on classes. So I got to take this workshop with Amy Poehler, and we're all sitting there, and she's like 15 minutes late, and she rolls in, and she's like hung over to fucking hell. Like she looked like she looked like she had two black eyes. Like just hung the fuck over. And she walks into this little rehearsal studio and she lights a cigarette. And she's smoking a cigarette.
Amazing.
And she goes, "Who in here thinks they're going to make money from improv comedy?" And everybody's like...
Slowly raising their hands.
Slowly raising their hand. She looks around. She's like, You won't. You won't. You won't. You won't. It's like, "Are you funny?" Kid was like, "I think so." She goes, "Doesn't matter. You won't. You won't." And then we realized that she did to there was no one left.
Oh my God. That's so
in the class. And it was like the funniest thing. And then she just basically did scenes, and she was like hungover, and she was like, telling us how to do scenes. But her basic message was like what you said, Busy, like, if there's anything else you want to do, like, go do it. This is so dumb. You're never going to make it. But the crazy thing when I think about that now is like 60% of that class made it.
Yeah, they had to prove drunk Amy Poehler wrong.
So it's like, I don't know what happened that day with us.
She gave
but
you your origin
story.
story.
Literally,
she gave you the origin story.
I could tell you the names of the people in that class, and you'd be like, "Holy shit!"
Oh my
I
God.
I want the names.
I bet you racked up almost $1 billion of box office in that class. And she was like, "You're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it."
That's hilarious.
And she had like a Boston Red Sox hat on, like super low.
Did you feel
that's
like it was motivating?
She had the Red Sox hat on. That's why she was rough on you, because she was in like masshole mode.
Oh yeah, she used to. I don't want to get her in trouble. She used to do this show. She used to do this show where she played someone from Boston. It's like the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my.
We talk about it
my
because Casey's from there or from Massachusetts, and like we just talk about how massholes
How
are just
rough
the
it
worst.
is.
Yeah, they did a show. It was the funniest. It was basically the premise of it was like these 8 improvisers. There's like an improv team from Boston that would come down to do a show. To do a show for you artsy folk at the UCB theater. And then the whole show, like they couldn't get through one scene without being like, "Fuck Derek Jeter." And like they like started
I
seeing
appreciate it.
We'd be like, "We're in a coffee shop." Someone would be like, "It's Dunkin'."
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I like it. Well, I was a writer at the Rosie O'Donnell show, and I was the only writer who was not also a performer, like not also a comedian. They were all friends of hers. Mm-hmm. And she used to always say, like, the key to this is to not have a backup plan. Like I never did any other job. I don't have a backup plan, whatever. But I know that I was like, that is good advice, but also advice from someone who's made it. But I would look around and be like, every other fucking person in this room also thought that they would have a talk show, and this is their backup plan now.
Yeah, but that's okay.
It's
They're
okay.
still
It's
working,
still-
and they're still working in comedy, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
think you
do change. I mean, there's like, look, I thought I was going to be Rachel McAdams.
But you are kind of Rachel McAdams, aren't you? Like what?
I'm myself. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
but that's
right.
that's what I mean. Like you are. Like I don't know. I've wanted to be like everybody up and down. And like seriously, I've wanted to be everybody. And I feel like I've had that conversation with my agents like every year where it's like, now I want to be Aaron Paul. And they're like, what the fuck? Like, what do you want? It's like, yeah, I really want to do stuff that's like serious. And they're like, fuck you, buddy. Like, and then the next year I'll be like, I'm back to my roots. I'm back to being Adam Sandler. And they're like, you were never Adam Sandler. You know, like,
I mean, that is amazing. Like the
you
guy
know, like
that just
that's
sees, yes.
I feel like that's all of us are like that. And I feel like the job itself, whether it be comedy writing or comedic acting or anything, is like the only way you're good at this job is if you like trash your ego and go like, I'm going in with an idea, but it's going to be wrong, because defensive people like in the industry are so impossible to be with. And that's what you find on set too. Like you walk on set, the first thing that happens to an actor is they go cut and the director goes, come here. Let's try it a different way.
Yeah.
And like, if you're defensive, you'd be like, "What, you don't like the way I did it?" Like, I was working all night on that. I wrote little things on the side. Like, fuck you, pal. Like, but you can't. You're an act. You're like, okay, yeah, tell me how you want me to. The job is for you to tell me to change it, and then I'll go back and change it. You know. And I feel like that's the nimbleness you have to have in comedy too. But it's hard sometimes to like get rid of that defensiveness and like, right, because you're like, you know, you'll pitch an idea in a room and somebody's like, I don't like that, and you'll be like, this fucking guy always hates my pitches.
I have like the hard. That's the thing I have the hardest time with is like when I feel
crazy
like
hard.
Yeah, pitching. Like I just feel like when people. Also, as a woman, it's different. I don't know, but like
I was gonna say, it's interesting.
No, it's very different.
Have you ever had an experience where you felt like that fucking guy never likes any of your ideas, and like you had a point? Have you ever felt like that?
Yeah, I mean, I felt for directors for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Directors, especially like, you know, on an ensemble, like on Happy Endings or something, where a new director would come in every week, and like part of their like TV directors in general are kind of hacks, because it's like, you know, like I love it when you see a TV director following around the director from the week before, being like, just getting my thing going. It's like, buddy, this is a train that's going to run no matter if you're here or not.
Yeah.
So
that was like Michelle. I learned that on Dawson's Creek early on. Have I ever told this story, Casey?
I don't think so.
Where like that was like a weird show for me to be on, because I came from Freaks and Geeks, which was just like the best experience of all time, and like so free and amazing, and we were trusted so much, and improv, like everything.
Yeah,
and then I show up to this like machine that has been running, and it's in its 5th year, and it didn't. And I remember like this director coming, and he was such a dick, and I fucking hated him, and he said mean things, and it was just the worst. And then I watched the episode, and it was fine. And then this other director came who was like a theater. Oh, actually, Jason Moore, who directed, I haven't watched it yet, but the J-Lo wedding movie that just came out.
Right.
It looks really funny.
Yeah.
But like he's like a theater director from New York, and he was like just so open, and like it was amazing. We had the best time. And then I watched the episode, and it looked exactly like the week that the guy who I hated directed, and it like everything, like there was no fucking difference between the two things except for my experience of it as the actor on set.
Right.
100%. And that is the most frustrating thing, I think, as an actor in television, because you're the best TV directors that aren't the pilot directors are the ones that are able to like use their skills to deliver the product that was established. And the worst ones are the ones that come in and they're like, we're going to do this Happy Endings episode with no edits. And you're like,
why?
Nope.
Why?
the fuck you are. The fuck you are. And like, so that's when I would have, I guess like that's when I was at my most defensive, I think, and probably my youngest and most insecure. But like, because there's 6 of you, and you'd have new directors every week, and they were all kind of like high profile. So you get a new director would come in, you'd be like, why doesn't that guy like me? Like, he probably thinks I'm like the newest one, or like, you know, or whatever, or can't act, or just a writer, whatever. And you deal with those insecurities and they become self-fulfilling.
Right.
Of course.
Right.
So like, that's when I had my hardest time. But I don't know. I mean, it must be crazy to be a woman in a writer's room that's predominantly men. And especially like old school, you know, like I didn't see any of it, but like I had a director on Happy Endings that we used to make fun of all the time because he literally used to direct Casey and Alicia. He'd be like, pick your head up, baby, so we can see that beautiful smile.
Oh God.
Oh,
And like,
fuck me.
that was like real, you know? And like, you'd be like, wow, that's crazy that like we're hearing that in like 2008.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
on set in front of like millions of people.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I've had the experience in a writer's room where I've been like the only woman and felt like super iced out with people just like not even giving. And at that point I was like, you know, I've been doing this a while and I've come from like, you know, not to be like
Good
whatever,
places.
but I've come from good places and like bigger places than most of these guys, whatever. And then this guy got hired that was like an older guy and had also worked on cool shows. And he just came in with like an open heart and like just him literally laughing out loud in the room at things that I said totally changed my life on that show.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
what a fucking weird experience to have him.
Yeah.
The room is toxic.
It's so weird, but to just have one guy like change it all around and signal like it's okay to like this woman and like her work. If you like let it get through, it will make the show better, which is why we're all here. So it was
Yeah.
So
and
fucked
I
up.
love that feeling. I don't love it, but it's like, I know that feeling so well of like a room full of insecure guys. And then like the boss is like, oh, good job. And then the one guy goes, yeah, right? Isn't that a good job?
oh my
You know, it's
gosh.
like, and then that look goes around the whole room of like, like they all start laughing, like, we like it. And then after it's like, we like you now. It's like, oh,
It's like all fear-based, man. Like everybody's just so afraid. Like they're hanging on by a thread. But you got to let all that shit go. I think we got to get
Yeah.
the fear out of this shit, guys. Especially for men.
yeah.
it's
Oh, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Women are way more fearless.
well
That's
don't you think?
100% true.
I think it's true.
I think it's true too.
I would agree.
I think it's because, you know, whatever, we could get into why, but women have to do scary shit all the time. And like,
Yeah.
you know, like you were saying, Adam, that like men aren't encouraged to be vulnerable or, you know, it goes back to like roasting everyone, you know, so like even being vulnerable can be scary for a guy. So the fact that like you just do that on the regular is, you know, it's pretty impressive.
Blue Land, we love you. You're on a mission to eliminate single-use plastic by reinventing cleaning essentials to be better for us and the planet. Blue Land.
You
What
know
do you
what? I think that usually the conventional wisdom is to make jingles really short, but you
In
got
this case,
you got a lot of information in that jingle. It was good.
I liked it. I liked it,
There's a lot to say about Blue Land.
but mostly that we love it.
We love it. It's such a simple and brilliant idea. Instead of buying full bottles of cleaning products full of nasty chemicals that, like, honestly, I can't believe we're bringing them into the house, some of them.
And also, by the way, full of water.
Yeah,
Just
full of
FYI.
water that's been
That
shipped
you've
all
shipped
over.
around the country.
Doesn't make any sense. So
At all.
Blue Land, you get a chic bottle. You buy the little tablet.
You buy the bottle once.
Buy the bottle once. You get the little tablet. When you need whatever type of cleaner, surface cleaner, window cleaner, you pop the little tablet in the bottle, fill it up with your own water, shake it up, and you're good to go.
I mean, honestly, it's so easy. It saves space and
Yes.
it's so much better for the environment. It makes me feel like we've all been duped for years.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like, what have we been doing with our lives? It's so chic. I also think it's just modeling good things for your kids too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you don't need to have all of these plastic bottles constantly coming in and out of like the house and going out into your recycling, which, by the way, we know now, like, a lot of that stuff that you think you're recycling, those plastic bottles,
Doesn't
they're
get
ending
recycled.
up other places, guys. Other places. Blue Land has hand soap, toilet bowl cleaner, laundry tablets. They're all made with clean ingredients you can feel good about. They're good for the environment. They're good for your home. They're good for your family. They're good for whoever is helping you in your home. I recommend grabbing that Clean Essentials kit. It has
Yes.
everything you need to get started.
It's such a good
3
gift for someone
Yes.
moving into a new place.
It's a great gift. And they have like really nice, beautiful light scents. I'm a huge fan of Blue Land. I use it in my home. I use it at Casa Gizmet. I use it everywhere that I am.
Same.
So they have a special offer just for Busy Phillips is Doing Your Best listeners. Get 15% off your first purchase of any product to get you and your year started right. So to get your 15% off your first order, please go to blueland.com/best. That's 15% off your first order right now when you go to blueland.com/best. That's blueland.com/best. Element. My electrolytes are low element. What you gonna do? I'm gonna refill your electrolytes for you. I mean, I don't know. Guys, I'm just now we're off the rails. But here's the deal. If you know me, you know I love an electrolyte.
I love an electrolyte too. We have that in common.
Honey, we've got more than just that in common, but that's a big one. I believe in them, guys. I believe in them. I have seen them firsthand change people from nauseous and weird
Not
to
doing
like,
great.
hey, I actually feel fine.
Yeah.
Like, electrolytes are wild that we don't know more about them, like, in childhood or something. Like, we should learn more about electrolytes because I do feel like they really come in handy. You got to replenish these things. Whether you have like a few glasses of wine, you're working out, you're just
you don't
like
you don't need
running
to be
around.
a triathlete to need your electrolytes topped off. To be honest, like a couple of glasses of wine will do it to you. You get a little dehydrated, and you need to do something to make yourself feel okay again. That's
or
where
you have a cold,
yeah, you got a cold. You're just
a
whenever
little sinus infection.
think of it this way: whenever anyone says "stay hydrated," that's where Element can come in. That's where the use of Element is appropriate. And that's every day.
Okay, so Element is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need, nothing you don't, lots of salt, no sugar. It contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio. It's 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium. There's no junk, no sugar, no food coloring, no artificial ingredients, no gluten, no fillers, no BS. It's literally for anyone, anywhere, at any time. Element is for you to help get those electrolytes into your body to facilitate hundreds of functions in your body, including the conduction of nerve impulses,
Pretty
hormonal
important.
regulation,
Also important.
nutrient absorption,
Very important.
fluid balance.
Important.
Element can help prevent headaches, muscle cramps, fatigue, sleeplessness, other common symptoms of electrolyte deficiency. Guys, I have said it before, I'll say it again. I'm a firm believer in adding electrolytes to your water daily.
Yeah.
And I love Element. Element is used by everyone from the NBA and the NFL and the NHL and Olympic athletes and Navy SEALs and then just me and Casey.
And by the way, like they taste really good. They have so many different flavors.
So many flavors.
And they're just little packets that you can, like, if you want to make it at home, great. But if you want to toss one in your bag and take it with you on the road for
Which is what I do.
Yeah, for when you fill up your water bottle, just sprinkle it on in there and you're good to go.
Well, listen, right now, Element is offering our listeners a free sample pack with any order. That's 8 single-serving packets free with any Element order. This is a great way for you to try all 8 flavors or share Element with a friend. Get yours at drinklmnt.com/best. This deal is only available through our special link. You must go to drinklmnt.com/best. And the best part is they offer this totally risk-free. If you don't like it, just give it away. Share it with a friend, and they're going to give you your money back. No questions asked. You really have nothing to lose, you guys. And you have only your electrolytes to gain. How can I ask you a question? And then I want to know about this. I want to know about the movie that's coming out.
Okay.
Did it come out? Is it coming
And
out?
it'll be out in 2 days.
Friday night. Wait, I got to tell you
Yeah.
something. You know, I'm a
Tell
real
me.
West Coast planetary bitch. This is a great weekend for this movie to come out. Creative thing.
Why?
Well,
What's going on? Is
it's
Mercury?
not in retrograde. Nothing's in retrograde in the current moment.
That's
We're
good,
about
right?
to go into our it's good. It's a full moon
Okay.
in Leo. We're in Aquarius. It's like all happening. Creative vibes. It should be great.
That sounds great. I'm really. I gotta call the producers and tell them
It's a perfect
let 'em
time.
know.
everything is.
It's auspicious
Guys,
timing.
Yeah. No, I don't speak to the producers. Last time an actor was like, "Yeah, I'll go talk to the people I shot this movie with."
Who
they're
invented
busy, that's
Charlie
awesome.
is what it's called, right?
Who invited?
Who
Charlie?
invited?
Oh, no, who invented him, guys?
Who invented him?
Adam
I like
invented
invented.
him.
It's like bicentennial, man. It's a
invited
bit
Charlie?
more like Robin
It's like-
Williams.
I saw the preview. It feels like that movie I loved.
What about Bill?
Yes, that's
Bob.
no.
What
It's,
about
it's
Bob?
Bob.
Adam, we are.
Everybody here is.
I mean,
everybody here is
killing it.
off by like.
You know what? We
Busy
are
and I-
professional
Busy
podcasters.
and I are also
This is-
hungover.
Yeah.
I'm smoking.
Well, this has been so fun, and I'm Adam Scott, and my show is Succession.
It's
No, it's kind of like a modern Plane, Trains, and Automobiles, or What About Bob, or Uncle Buck, which are like
Uncle
3 of my
Buck.
favorite movies of all time.
I love
and getting
that.
a character like that is like you don't get them that often, where you get to do like everything.
yeah,
So it was a real joy.
yeah, because you are Charlie. You're like the nominal, the named character.
The nominal, yes.
You're.
I only take movies now. I've decided I'll only take movies if the title of my character is in the title of the movie.
That I
think
think that
that's
makes
right.
so much
I think
sense.
that's right.
That's
I
a
support-
good career
I
move.
support it.
Thank you. I just
Mm-hmm.
need a little more screen time.
Yeah.
So I want to ensure
Yeah.
that my next movie is called Titanic. I will be
You're the ship.
I will be playing the boat. I will be playing the boat.
Wait, did you go see that production here, the Titanic?
No, I heard it was good though.
I heard it was amazing. I didn't see it. It was like some insane production of like the movie Titanic as a musical, but like Casey, I don't know.
Oh,
It
that
seems
sounds fun.
Yeah.
wild.
Did you ever play
Like
the
off-Broadway
Titanic
somewhere.
video game?
Excuse me?
I think there was like a Titanic video game. I never played it, but I just know in my office we would like turn it on and let whatever was going to happen.
Was it like from James? It was like the James Cameron movie?
don't
Or it was like
kn-
another plot?
I don't know. I just know that we would turn it on and put on the Titanic soundtrack and like wait for shit to happen, but we wouldn't like.
Wait, I am-
Bummer of like a programming job too. It's like come up with the plot of a video game. Like, Mom, I finally got hired to do my dream job, man.
And
I told you all those classes at Berkeley were gonna pay off. I'm like the best programmer ever.
Oh.
What job is it? Well, I gotta come up with the plot of someone who drowns in the Titanic.
oh my god, an
Room for room. It's a 65-hour game.
unwinnable game.
Guys, you know I don't know if I ever told you this, Casey. I don't think we ever talked about this, but it was when Birdie, my oldest kid, was like 8, and we were going on that Disney cruise.
Yeah.
And it was like her
You
dream
went on that?
in life. Oh my God, yes, we did.
Oh, geez.
I'll tell you everything. It was
Adam's just realizing he's gonna have to do this.
it was
No,
like
no. I'll leave the family before I get on the boat.
I leaned in. So Adam, I leaned in. So I was dreading it and being such a dick about it, like leading up to it. And then I realized, like, I heard myself and I was like, you're an asshole. People like
Right.
save their whole lives to go on this trip. Like your family is like, my parents were taking us all on it. I'm like, be grateful, fucking have a good time. And I had to tell you, like, I leaned in so hard that I was like running the ship at the end.
Oh,
and
God.
like it was I had the
Was it
most
fun?
Oh, yeah,
wow.
the best fucking time. And it was
Yeah,
like
that's good.
Birdie's dream come true. But literally the 2 weeks before she left, her class in elementary school learned about the Titanic.
Why?
And then all of a sudden, my
God.
child, like, it just was, the timing was just terrible. And she learned about the Titanic
Yeah.
and then was terrified. And we were
Yeah.
on it. We were fine. We made it. We made it
As
through
a-
the Caribbean.
I mean,
I'm shooting something next year. I'm shooting something next year in Berlin, and I want to give my kids a one-up on the Holocaust, like right before we get there.
Yeah, that seems right.
I mean,
You know, show them all the
You know-
images.
Can I tell you something for real though? For real though, the American Girl doll that deals with the Holocaust is kind of amazing.
I've seen that. You know, there's this
Rebecca,
new-
the
there's this
the
new
Jewish
thing.
one.
The Jewish one.
My
I
favorite
think
one.
They named her Rebecca.
Rebecca.
There's also a immigrant, quote unquote, American Girl doll, which is like also Jewish. Clearly,
Not
'cause it has, like,
Rebecca? No,
not Rebecca.
It's
It's
Rebecca.
like a Rabushka. She's like a babushka.
A
on her head.
babushka. Yeah, it's Rebecca.
It's
Rebecca's
just-
an immigrant because the war was starting.
right, and so she came through the Lower East Side. Yeah, I have all her paperwork.
Okay, you have all her paperwork. All I'm saying is that those books were helpful for me, but it was also really fucking hard because I remember having that conversation. Casey and I have talked about this. I remember having that conversation with Birdie after we read the books, and I like was reading her the back part. She was probably Gracie's age. She's probably like 9 or something.
Yeah.
And she was like, but not the kids, right, Mom? And I was like, fuck.
yeah.
Yeah. Also the
Yeah.
kids. Also
Yeah,
the
the
kids.
kids died too.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
it, and like especially like we're not raising our kids Jewish, but their last name is
Right.
Silverstein.
Right.
And like
They
with
know.
Birdie fully knows. I mean,
Well,
and
they're Jewish to other people. You know what I
they're
mean?
Jewish to other people. Yeah. No, Birdie's like so aware of that fact that like it doesn't actually matter. Like she's Jewish enough
Right.
to people who hate Jews.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
like
which is
it's-
everybody.
right. Currently
right
feels
now,
like it. It does feel like
Yeah.
it.
It's like a real
It
trend.
does. It's a tough spot. I do feel odd when I see like Yeezys on the subway. I like am a little bit like, I know that you're not going to kill me, but it does offer the same warning
Yeah.
as
I mean,
like,
dude, I saw a guy
know.
walking in the West Village and he had like a real high and tight haircut and he was wearing like this army green jacket and I was like, is that a Nazi? Like I like got like panicked that the guy was
Yeah.
like a fucking Nazi.
One time in Burbank, I saw this gathering of people that I thought was like a full-on paramilitary something. It was Ghostbusters cosplay, but from like a block away, I shit my pants in my car. I was like, "What's happening?
Oh, yeah.
These people are on the march. What's happening?"
And they're like, no women Ghostbusters. No women Ghostbusters.
Right. That was the gist. of it.
Reboot
That
it
is actually-
with Paul Rudd. Reboot it with Paul Rudd.
Oh, you would fully be in that. Adam, you would get in there. You'd
I
do
got
the
in there.
reboot.
You know, one of the best parts of my career is that I won like after like a bunch of auditions a role in the Ghostbusters reboot, and then in the Sony hack they talk about why it didn't get made, and it's like the reboot of Ghostbusters, the choices Ivan Reitman made were not enough to get the movie to the finish line. And then it's like Charlie Day, Adam Pally. I'm like,
Oh no.
They just mean international money, Adam.
I know, but it was like everyone else in the Sony hack is like, wow, did you see Joel McHale was going to be Superman? It's like, we're like, you see Adam Pally ask Charlie Day for a TV?
Oh my
Like,
god!
it's just like really.
That's right. Well, that lady's pubic hair dye really took everyone's attention. So I had never.
What?
Don't you remember that?
No, I don't.
Executive, like they showed her emails and she had like ordered like fun colors to dye pubic hair.
Dye her pubes.
How did
Yeah,
she
there was a
know
lot
that it
of
was-
stuff on it.
What?
There was one I read that was like an actor. I don't want to say the name, but it was like legit emails. And I don't know why I was digging through this. It was like emails between him and the corporate department of Sony being like, is there any way that I could get like one of those big TVs?
Oh my god! Oh my god! I was in the Sony hack
By the way,
too,
I have to say
but
something.
none of my emails were interesting. But that's why I use my own personal email to this day because I'll never use a corporate email again.
Oh yeah, because I'm sure that actor didn't like do that out of the blue. I'm sure someone was like, hey, if you want a TV,
Right.
email so-and-so.
Exactly.
And so the actor was like doing it, and then it gets released on the hack.
I don't
like,
want
so-and-so's
anyone to know
looking
about
for
my pube dye.
free
I don't want
TVs.
anyone to know I
Yeah.
wanted a free TV. Nothing.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to know I'm a schnurrer. Nothing like that. Like, I don't want them to see what my lunch orders. So
Nothing.
embarrassing.
Anything could be embarrassing. Anything taken out of context.
I need the mystery of me to be fully intact. I need people to always, in my head, and maybe this is my narcissism, everybody is consistently thinking, what's Adam doing right now?
Who is he? Who is Adam
I don't
Pally?
want them to know the answer.
No.
I want them to think about what it could be. you know?
Yeah. They can project
their
their own deepest feeling.
Yeah.
thoughts
Yeah.
and feelings
I mean, because
onto
the
you.
truth of the matter is like eating a sweet green salad with spicy cashew heavy at like on like the sweet greens by the Moscot on 58th or whatever. But it's like, no one
Right.
wants to hear that. No one
No.
wants to hear that.
Not really.
Waiting for dismissal, making sure my new prescription doesn't cause me to like fall in the street. Like, that's not as classy.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, okay, so we do ask people about pivots. We heard about your dad's pivot, but do you have like a thing that you thought, well, I mean, I guess maybe the Ghostbusters job, like that you thought was going to be like, okay, this is fucking it. And then whatever, it didn't work out. Something happened. Something else came up.
I feel like my whole life like tends to be like that, which is like if you're resilient and you're kind of like everything's a pivot, you know, because you want one thing and then you end up with something else. And but I would say that the most, but I think I can talk about this because it's so it was like reported on, but about, and it ended up working out fine. But about 8 years ago, I got a job to take over for Emile Hirsch in the John Belushi biopic.
Whoa.
And
I didn't know that.
I started to like gear up and get ready to do it. And I got like very heavy. And right before we started shooting, they flew me out to Chicago to do like a screen test, you know, with the makeup or whatever. And when I got back, they canceled the movie. And I was like 230 pounds and had like long hair and had dyed my hair black. Like they were going to go, but they were like, it's just not going to work or whatever. And so I was like, oh God, that's awful. And I was pretty devastated and depressed. And it took me a long time to like want to do anything else. Like it wasn't even that I like I needed another job and all that stuff, but I just didn't want to. you know?
Yeah.
And then I put it away. It took about 2 years to like get my health back right and whatever. And then in February 2020, great director and writer and producer David Frankel called me and was like, I'm doing Belushi and I saw your screen test and I want to do it again with you. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, like we're going to do it. So we got an amazing cast. Like we had an amazing cast and it was all ready to go. And I gained the weight again.
Shut up.
Then
this is insane.
And then the pandemic happened.
No, I know. I can't.
And in July, they canceled the movie.
Fuck off. Adam.
God.
But it ended up working out really great because in like September, I got a call from David who was like, I read this script by my protege that I'm going to produce called Who Invited Charlie, and it's really good. And we want you to do it. And he's like, I feel horrible about the way that Belushi didn't come together and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll read it, you know, and I read it and it was great. And I did it. And now it's here. So, yeah. So it's like, it worked out great. But that was a tough, like going back in to like do all that stuff again and then having it not work again was like a tough Hollywood. And there were like like you can Google it. There were like articles about it and it was like starting to happen. And I was like very heavy. Again, mostly this is vanity. Mostly it was vanity about me being very heavy, getting heavy.
Well, it's hard. I mean,
That's okay.
that's preparing for a role in a way that, like, you know, that isn't always necessary. And it's not just something that you can just drop in a second. It's not a costume you can. So I think it's an interesting conversation because, you know, people are very opinionated about Brendan Fraser wearing a fat suit in The Whale. And like, you tried to do it the old fashioned way.
To be fair, I wasn't far off. Like, you know, like I'm stocky. Like it wasn't like I had like a long walk to go.
Guys,
you know?
I once had an audition for this independent movie that I like really wanted. And the girl is described. This is like, again, early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
And the girl was described as being like chubby, overweight, like multiple times. They like talk about how she's overweight. And I met with the director loves you for this. And I met with the director. And so I was like, and he's like, do you know, like, let's talk about like the physicality and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I'm just curious. Yeah, I'm curious like what you're thinking and what that, you know, like how that works. And he literally goes, well, you know, for some actresses, it's a lot, you know, like I could see 45, 50, 60 pounds. For you, maybe 5, 10? What's like?
At least he didn't ask you to lose 5 or 10.
Yeah. No.
I was like, that makes sense. Sure. Great.
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
By the way, guys, just FYI, I was like a size 6.
Probably like a size 6.
Yeah, I was like on the thinner side of humans, probably. Yeah. And the guy's like, you're pretty fat. So
I didn't have a long way to go in mind. Like it wasn't like The Whale.
Yeah.
It was
okay.
more
How do
like,
you do it though? Like, can I ask that logistical question? Also, that's an amazing story, and I have other questions.
Yeah.
How did you do that? The weight gain.
I fluctuate, or like already. You know, I like if I have soy sauce, it looks like I'm like.
Well,
you can play Belushi the next day.
Wait, you were on Mindy Project. Like Ike Barinholtz and I always joke that we have the same body because we can like gain and lose 15 pounds in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Like no one can believe my abilities to gain and lose weight.
And I feel that way too. And my wife sometimes says to me, like, you know, it's all in your head, right? Like you look like you look all the time. Like she's like, and I'm like, well, that's sweet. I don't know if it's true, but I fluctuate quickly, and I have resting fat boy face. Like I am that already. So it's easy. Like if I just turn it all off, it's like every meal's a pizza,
Sure.
a milkshake in between,
Oh, the best.
couple bagels for breakfast. You're hungry in between the two pizzas, grab some dumplings. And like the next thing you know, it's been 2 weeks and you're up 20 pounds.
Can I ask a question?
like-
Are you happy? Were you happy getting to do that? Or
No.
okay.
No.
You didn't
Yeah,
you didn't
it's
like
terrible. My vanity is too strong. I don't even like looking old. Like
Well,
even being like
who-
this.
What are you
Who
going
does?
to
Who
do? What are you going
does?
to do?
Yeah.
We're
Well,
going to
I'm gonna get my buccal fat sucked out. I'm gonna go on.
Oh, maybe we can
my
do
diet's gonna be
we
like
can do a party.
150 Ozempic milligrams. I'm just gonna fucking.
We can
just
have
take me
a-
down the
a
ladder.
cheek fat
Take it.
party. And
Guys,
want it.
I don't have
I
any
need my, like-
buckle fat. It's called pronounced buckle, apparently.
I look like the little kid from Up.
That kid's so cute. It's a great kid
Yeah,
to
he's
look like.
adorable. Yes,
Yeah.
of course. And that's what people, when they see me on the street, they point and say it. So it's nice to know that I'm resident.
No, but like, okay, wait. I have another question about the movie that didn't
Yeah.
work out twice, 2 times for you.
Yeah.
If
2 times.
If someone comes knocking time number 3, what do you do?
I would do it.
Yeah.
I would do it. Yeah, of course, right? Wouldn't you? I mean, like, that's what we are.
Yes. I would
I
do
have
it too.
no-
100%.
Yeah. If someone said play Ackroyd, I would do it.
not
that's
not
what
a
we
roast. Just
do. Not a roast,
just an
not as good a
accurate,
part.
honest.
Not a roast, just not as good a part. Honestly, that's it. Wow, that's really an intense story, and I don't know like how you kind of overcame that heartbreak the first time, because I feel like that would have floored me. I don't know if I would have been
did.
able to do it. Like
It
move
did
on.
for me.
I'm not kidding.
Well, it was like, I think it was a good thing that it happened early, like, relatively early to get to like kind of starting to work a lot, because it showed me what was going to happen for the rest of my career, which is like,
Right.
you are nothing, like nothing matters. You work really
Right.
hard and you think this is going to be it. And then you put it out and maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but you're still the same person and you still have to deal with your kids and your fucking, face fat. That's just the life. That's,
Your
like
buckle fat, your buccal fat.
my buccal fat.
Buckle.
So like that was a good lesson I learned, because like I've gone on from that experience to like, tank quite a few television shows.
Sure.
I don't blame you for that.
But still the industry does. Like, people say that all the time. It's like, well, that's not your fault. It's
Right.
like, well,
right. It's your
sure.
face on
do
it.
you want to hire me now?
Right.
It's like, well, no, you've just had a failure.
Right. Right.
So, and I've had quite a few. I mean, like, I went to Yasser and Chelsea's wedding.
Me too.
A couple weeks ago. Were you there? I didn't
Yeah.
see you.
I was in.
Did you see me?
I think I saw you from afar, but we didn't chit chat. We were afar. It was a big wedding.
It was huge, but like I had a really intense experience at that wedding, because I walked in and he set up a lot of his friends were sitting by project that he had worked on.
Right.
Oh my God.
And say 4 of those projects lasted not very long, and all 4 of them, there was one common theme. Said,
Other than him.
Other than him working on them in some fashion, the common theme
Right.
is that I was the kind of centerpiece of those projects. So kind of going from one table to another and sitting down and hearing like, this is so fun. Why don't we do this? And in your head, you're like, because of me. You don't do this because of me. I'll tell you why you don't do this.
Oh my.
Because I fucked it up.
Oh.
And like there was nowhere to turn. Like every table was that. And that's a great it. And like, I also felt so lucky. I was like, God, I've been around a while. Like to go from table to table and be like, fuck that show up, fuck that show up, fuck that show. That's pretty good. But at the same time,
Great.
you know, you gotta, it's a lot. It's like, you know, I've failed upwards quite a bit.
Is it your family at the end of the day and like Daniela, like at home?
Yeah.
And, like, is that
I'm
what
lucky.
brings
I'm
you
lucky
back?
I guess so. I mean, like, I'm lucky, hot wife, you know, terrible kids, but hot wife. And
Well, listen, to be fair, they're fine. They're just fucking cold.
they're just cold. Yeah,
They
they're
just won't
freezing.
wear a
They won't-
jacket.
It's
They're
not like I'm not
freezing.
giving them their tools.
Right.
Yeah, it's so frustrating to see a kid freezing and you're like, you're holding a jacket.
Honey,
But,
honey, I get it.
You can even
I'm
take
there.
No,
the
I
jacket
think-
away and give it to another kid who would wear it. Then they'll want it.
yeah, I threaten that all the time. My daughter's like, it won't fit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think it's honest. Truthfully, it's having a lot of life before like any recognition, I think, is very helpful. Because like I think sometimes it's hard when you get used to like, you know, things are easy when you're rich and famous, like really easy. You know,
Honey, I
and
have friends who
so-
don't even know how to check themselves in at the airport. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh, completely. I have, for sure. I have friends that don't have wallets, that don't have cards. I have friends that don't have cards. They like,
like,
borrow
how
cash
do you
from
not-
me. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. And like that, I think that can, it's great when it's going well, but if there's ever a moment where it's not, it gets like people freak out. And so I think for all the moments when things are just static, I think I'm used to that. So I don't, it's like, well, that seems like normal life.
Yeah.
I don't know
Would
if that
you
makes
write what's your dream? I was going to have a leading question, but instead I'm going to offer an open-ended question. What is your like dream project in this moment for yourself?
Well, that's a lovely question. I don't know. I've been playing a lot of music around town. I am trying to do something. I don't know what it is, but like just do comedy somewhere somehow. And I've
Adam?
been working on like.
Are you free? Are you free February 11th to come to the NJ Pack Center and play a song on stage with us?
Is this real? Yeah, of course. I
Yeah,
would
for
do
real.
that. I would love to do that.
Yeah, we don't even have to. I mean,
I
we can do it on
I
the
feel like
podcast,
we
but-
should give him a ring. Adam.
Wait, I have one.
Adam,
I have one
would
right
you?
here. Adam, would you? No, we're playing. We haven't booked a musical like every.
Oh my god! I thought there
so
was
we're
a
doing
chance. I thought there was a chance this was going to happen today, but I didn't think it was like going to happen.
We're doing like our podcast live like we're
Oh,
doing
great.
San Francisco on Friday and then we're doing Boston and we're doing New Jersey. Anyway, if you want to come play at the NJ Pack and that would be so fun.
I would love to. Is it okay if it's like it's music, but it's also comedy? Is that okay?
We can do
whatever
whatever the
you
fuck we
do it-
want. Literally.
All right.
Like that's
I would love
kind
to.
of the vibe. I think it would be
I
really
would
fun
love
if it
to.
was you. But will you play
I would love to.
Will you play guitar while I sing one song?
100%.
Okay, great.
100%.
Then we're in. Then we're fully
make
in.
it-
We're booked.
I hope you like Bruce Springsteen
Love. We'll
because that's
be.
pretty much where my knowledge is.
We'll be in New
Love
Jersey.
I do want to
What
sing
better
a Bruce
place?
song. Yeah, we got to sing a Bruce song in Jersey.
Let's sing
actually.
"I'm on Fire."
Well, that's my favorite. That's what I would. That's what I would do because that
Let's do
stripped
it.
down is so good.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Love that song.
It's a good one.
Okay, great. Adam, you're booked.
Yes. I did not think today was going to.
We asked him what his dream was. He said to play more music, and we exploited
I'm like, I can
it.
make that dream
we
come
exploited
true
it for our
in New
own
Jersey.
You are busy.
purposes.
I got
You're
a
a
great-
dream maker.
I've got some good babysitters. If you guys need a babysitter that night,
Honestly, yes.
I've got I got a cute one. I can
we're not
send your
allowed
way.
We're not allowed those.
Oh,
Really?
only-
Oh,
Only
right. I get it. I get the joke. I get the joke.
nondescript babysitters only.
My wife, her favorite thing to say whenever there's like a news story is like, well, you hired the babysitter. It's like the amount of times I hear that. The amount of times I hear that and think to myself, like, you know, I'm a human being.
Do you not know me by now?
But I am there.
All right, fantastic. Okay. Well, who invited Charlie this Friday in theaters? Only in theaters.
I think it's on.
To start.
I think it's
Day
on
and
demand.
date. Day and date.
Yeah.
On demand.
Yeah.
Oh,
Most likely
Both?
people will demand it. And I think that's great.
ugh, me too. God damn it.
I
I hate
love
going
it.
to the movie theater. Also, by the
too.
way, I haven't done it in years. Also, Adam, because you do have 3 kids who are fairly small still, like, like, I don't want to go out and go to the movies. Like, if I'm going to go out, I want to fucking go out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is a good wine makeout movie too. Like it's the type of movie. It really is a good wine makeout movie. Like put on your TV, get some wine, make out, and then come
Laugh.
back for like laugh, then make out, pause it or don't pause it, come back, catch it. You won't miss anything. Like it's good like that.
I love it. I think this is the first time I've ever heard an artist say, like, I would like it if you would make out during the movie.
Oh God, I would love it if you made out during the movie. It'd be great.
Do you want people to
I-
let you know how the making out
I'm-
goes?
Yes, please. I hope someone conceives during. I mean, like I would say that I'm so confident in my performance that I believe that I'm so charismatic that I can shine through a couple making out
That's
while
right.
watching the movie.
I
I
love
love
I believe
this.
that my performance will resonate through sex.
Yeah, and maybe even
Wow.
like help it along. You know?
Yeah, because,
Totally. I mean,
because laughter, it really gets some people
An
off.
aphrodisiac.
Laughter's the
that's
best
what they
There
say.
lubricant. That is what they say.
That's right.
There is a point in the movie where I turn to the camera and I go, "Hey, slow down."
I almost did a spit take, guys. I was drinking my water and I almost did a spit take. Well, it's so nice to see you
Nice to see you guys too. Thank you
over
again so much.
Zoom. I'm so happy for all of your success and that this movie is coming out and it ends up being like kind of a little bit of like the bright spot to your pivot story.
Yeah.
Really ties it all in together.
Yeah.
Oh, and then finally, are you going to fucking write and star in the movie about your parents?
Yeah. Well, maybe when my dad dies.
You don't want to do it before.
I want his life insurance. If I'm going to take that time off to write, I want to make sure I have a little cash.
Sure, of course. Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I don't do anything for
Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
So, you know.
No,
Yeah.
I
not
get
even
it.
for myself.
That's just-
not even for
myself.
That's just you're
No.
just a good businessman, Adam Pally.
I am.
That's just good business.
I'm
all right,
Jewish.
Adam.
I'm Jewish. I will
Honey,
see you guys.
It's got to be pickup time. I'll see you later.
Thank you so
It's
much,
pickup time.
Adam.
Bye.
Bye. Nice to see you.
I mean, how am I going to find someone to make out with to that movie? In the next 2 days.
you have, like,
San
2
Francisco, you better bring it.
I'm going to say there's probably at least a couple dozen people in San Francisco that would make out with you.
That's generous of you, Casey. Thank you. I appreciate
You're welcome. I just think, you just have to let people know that you have to put it out there, which you just
that.
did. Which you just did. So,
Well, listen, I don't know if I really want to make out with someone.
okay.
Watching that movie. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
You got your new
We'll see.
mirror. You can kiss your new mirror.
I did my eyebrows. They look good.
Oh, good.
Put on a little face oil. Okay, here's what I'm going to say. I've been making some crisis decisions.
Me
A new
Yeah.
tattoo.
Yeah.
I chopped my hair off.
Right.
I mean, those are basically
they're the
those are
two
those
main
are them.
ones. Yeah.
Those
yeah.
are them.
Yeah.
I did buy a pair of on sale lace up brogues, which I think maybe look like nurse shoes, but you know what?
I bet you can make them work.
Nurse shoes from like the 50s, you know,
Yeah,
like
we love
something
nurses.
right, from the 50s, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like a Nurse Ratchet vibe.
Yeah.
from-
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do think they're cute. I mean, they were on sale at Nordstrom and I had a gift certificate. So
Okay.
I felt like that was okay. I bought the mirror. But, you know, other than that, I would say I'm like handling my shit in terms of like not going to the things that I normally go to, which is like excessive shopping. But I'm doing I'm doing some other things that are like, no, hope it turns out, you know, like the
Yeah.
haircut could have
Yeah.
gone either way.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't bangs. The tattoo's cute. And then a friend of mine was like, you should just sign up for Raya. You should sign up for Raya. And I was like, and I fully fucking sent the thing in. And now I haven't like made a profile or anything, but like I did get
Okay.
like accepted.
Okay.
Obviously. And then they've emailed since. Let me know if you need help setting up your profile. And I was like, I
Wow.
can't. I'm not there.
You're
but
not
I
there.
did like do it.
Yeah.
Sent the original email or
Raya,
whatever.
in case you don't know, we've talked about it before.
they know.
It's like it's a dating app, but it's kind of like an exclusive.
ish, I guess. I don't even
Ish.
think it is that much.
Not as much as it used to be, I don't think, but you know.
And I also like don't even think I want to be on it, but like
Yeah.
I just was having like a moment and I was like, fine, I'll do it. But also, speaking of crisis haircuts, I have to tell you a Gina story because I woke up early and she has all of the, you know, it's her winter haircut,
Yeah.
which is means like she has long hair.
Right.
And her harness was like matting her fur like
no.
so bad.
Yeah.
And I was feeling really bad for her. You can't really brush. I mean, I would brush out some of them, you
Yeah.
know, but like when they're really like matted, you just have to cut them out because,
Right.
you know, and a lot of times they shave her
Right.
at the groomer
Right.
when she's got those mats on her. It was like where her little harness is. So, but she was like she does not like being shaved at the vet.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And often I've noticed that like, I'm sure she's like moving around, whatever. She gets
Right.
like these little tiny nicks, you know, and you know me, she's my
Right.
baby. So I just took a little tiny scissors. She was very relaxed on her back. I was petting her tummy and I just like started snipping and I cut out all of her mats. And like, it was hilarious because Birdie came into my room later and she was like, did Gina explode in here?
Oh my
Because it was
God.
just like, there was like tiny little fur everywhere, like little whatever.
Oh my
And it was like fine. It looked good.
Yeah.
And I like kind of like did the I used like like mini hair cutting scissors that I had.
Yeah.
And I even did the thing where I tried to like fade it out, you know, like
Right.
with my fingers and like cutting it or whatever. And it was fine. And she seemed totally fine because she hadn't been at the whatever groomers.
Yeah.
But then, well, I didn't realize that if the harness matted her there and she didn't then have any fur, she could get a blister.
Oh no.
Yeah. And she got a fucking blister on her chest, like right where the harness was. And I
Poor
felt,
girl.
I took her on this like really nice long walk in Central Park.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my God, what happened to your chest? Like an idiot. Like I'm a fucking idiot. I felt so bad. And so now she has to wear a sweater because she can kind of lick it and I want it to heal.
Right. Right.
And then I was just like, I tried to do a thing that was going to be less traumatic for her. And then I ended up making it more traumatic for her.
She'll be okay. I know you feel bad, but it's, you know, literally the same as every time I, you know, opened a door in one of my kids' faces or something, you know? It's just like, didn't you ever
Yes,
knock
every time.
Did you ever knock over your kids opening a door?
I've knocked him over with my butt before.
Yeah, you know, my mom slammed my leg and my finger in the car door at 2 different times. Like the I think it was the finger first, but like You think
I slammed Birdie's finger on
Yeah.
accident in a door,
Yeah.
and it was the most traumatic thing. And I was like convinced that she was going to be taken away from me.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we could go on, but those are the things that happen. But she'll be
That
okay.
was one of my top 5 worst parenting moments, but it was just because I felt so terrible about it. I
Yeah, of course.
couldn't get my shit together, and Birdie's like, it scared me.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh my gosh.
well, that's my Gina story.
Aw, she'll be all right. She'll heal up and her fur will grow back very quickly, I'm sure.
I hope so.
Aw,
My poor little girl.
your poor little girl. What are you doing your best at this week?
I am doing my best at like just being very aware and present and knowing what I can and can't handle in this moment.
Oh, that's
And
good.
so like if that means like not doing certain things but doing other things, like responding to some people that I owe a response to, but other people I'm like, I'm not emotionally ready to do that.
Right, right.
Whatever it is. There's like, there's lots that comes at me. I have a lot that comes at me, guys. We all do. We all do. Casey does. You do too. Everybody does. I know we all do.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, I have struggled in my life with, and it's not just saying no. Like, it's like I have struggled with knowing my own limit.
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of times people get really reductive and they're like, you need to learn no. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I can say no. I've done it before.
Right.
But it's not that. It's that I say yes thinking that I have the capacity for something I don't
Right.
have the capacity for.
Right.
And so, like, the actual thing is
Gina's trying to go out on the balcony with her
with
sweater
her little
on.
sweater on. Come on. That sweater is so cute. It is so cute.
That is cute.
So it's not, so I think that like when you hear people saying like the power of saying no, like that's fucking great if you're a person who's in touch with yourself enough that you're able to know
Right.
when you're at capacity.
Right.
But if you're a person like me who's been in a constant state of like trying, like piling more on so that no one gives up on you,
Right.
so that people still love you because you
Right.
like equate it with love,
Right.
then it gets messy because you're like, that's when you like the step before being able to like just say no to things. That the step before is like vital.
Yeah.
And that's knowing who you are and
Right.
what you're capable of, and that it changes in different moments.
Right. I think it'd actually be really more powerful. Maybe, people are like, there's so much power in saying no, and that is true. But I think it'd be maybe even more powerful for you in some cases to say maybe. Like I think that is the thing that we're always so hesitant because it seems waffly, and we've had a lot of talks about pragmatism and like how it can come off as negative. But sometimes I think there's a lot of power in saying, maybe, let me think about it.
Wait, I literally said maybe to something this week and I felt so good. Like I was like, hey, I'm trying to figure out a few things. This would be something I would really like to do. If you can email me more information, I promise you, as soon as I get a few other things in line, I'll be able to know if this is something I can do or not.
I think that's so good. And I think it sounds like you used maybe in a really healthy way, because I think a lot of people abuse maybe too. Like a lot of people use it as a way to push something off until it's a moot point, which isn't fair to the person that's asking for something, and it's not fair to yourself either, because you have that anxiety the whole time when you haven't answered definitively. But to say maybe, let me gather more information and honestly evaluate if I have the time and the resources and the energy to devote to, to give as much as this deserves. You know what I mean? Like that, like I try to say that a lot to people. Like, I don't think I could give this the attention that it deserves. I don't think I'm the person that's the right person to do this right now. And I really mean it, like, because I never want to say that I'm not the right person for something or it's not the right time for me to do something, because I want to do everything like you're saying so that people will like continue to love me and want me to do things. But sometimes you just fucking can't.
Sometimes you can't. And I think it's like,
and sometimes you don't know.
And sometimes you don't know if you can.
Right.
And I do think, I do think that it's like a thing that we don't teach people, like how to know when especially women, especially like our generation, right? Like it's not easy to know your own limits when you've like been told that it's normal to push past them your entire life.
Right. Right.
Put that on a t-shirt, guys. Casey, what are you doing your best at this week?
I'm having like a love-hate relationship with the internet lately. Like a lot of the
lately,
I mean, more so than usual for me. A lot of the things that I used to do to soothe myself, like watching, like process videos, how-to videos, are just irritating me, especially when they're just like, buy this, you have to get this, talk about the mascara controversy. Like, I'm really, I love Michaela and I love her videos, her tutorials, but I'm really like feeling weird about things that are like, you have to do something this way, or you have, I feel weird about being told, because I think there's a lot of ways to do something. And I feel like
my mom always said there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Exactly. Or, I mean, not that we're skinning cats. No one should skin a cat, but
we've already talked about the horrific
saying.
Sentiment of the saying.
That's the saying. But I feel like I'm having notification poisoning. I think I'm having like pop-up induced rage a lot, because I'm like, whenever I go to buy something and every time I go to click on the thing I want, like a thing pops up about how I have to enter my email or how I can get 15% off. And I'm just like, you have my email, you know who I am, just give me the 15% off from the beginning and don't like fuck with my emotions. Don't leave me on this roller coaster and make me spin a little.
I hate that, this like new thing of like, you want 15% off? Well, you have to give us your fucking email. Ooh, you want 20% off? We also need your phone number so we can text you. Like, guys, stop it.
Give it to me or don't.
I swear to God, you know what? I'm more likely to fucking be a repeat customer if you just give me the 20% off and then I'm like, buy the thing and I'm happy with it.
You know what I hate the worst? When the pop-up comes up and it's like, do you want 15% off? Enter your email. And then if you don't want to do that, there's a little box to check that says, no thanks, I'll just pay full price. And I'm like, you fucking passive-aggressive asshole website. No thanks, I'll just pay.
Can I tell you something? I love clicking no thanks, I'll just pay full price, because I think it's a fucking power move. I'm like, fuck you. You don't work with me. You're fucking bullshit.
And guess what? I'm not paying anything.
Passive-aggressive bullshit doesn't work with me.
I'm not paying anything. I'm just saying that I don't want a discount so that I can look at your fucking stupid website.
Yeah, I'm just looking anyway. I'm just filling a cart never to come back.
Let me look.
And if you have my email, you'll send me the cart and be like, think you left something behind.
Oh my God. I just hate it. So I'm just feeling like and I think it all reached a head. I think where I realized like I have to be healthier is that like, I know I've mentioned a couple times on the podcast that we have to get the floors redone in this house because they're really janky. And it's like, it's not just like embarrassing when you have people.
I feel like the Property Brothers had asked, right? About like if there was anyone who's in LA who I wanted to like.
I mean,
should we do it?
Do
you remember that email? Didn't I?
Yeah, because I know that the Property Brothers that they appeared on Girls Five Eva. So anyway, yeah, I mean,
it's supposed to be a surprise, but
well, listen,
we just do the Property Brothers?
I'll forget that we ever had this conversation. Anyway,
Oh, honey, I'm forgetting all kinds of things. And I don't know if it's just like, I don't know what the fuck's going
everyone
on.
in my family is like, oh, it's because of COVID. I can't be, since I had COVID, I can't remember anything. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure we were forgetting everything before COVID. But so anyway,
Okay.
I left like kind of a salty comment on a flooring company's social media post because I liked this flooring product and I asked for samples, and the samples came, they were like here the next day. And I was like, I love this product. I want to use it. It's environmentally friendly. I just need to figure out how much it costs and like, can I get someone to come install it, whatever. But so the first step is like emailing the company and asking them like, what's the cost of this per square foot? Obviously, that's what you do. And they sent me the samples happily, like dozens of samples of their different colors, whatever. These fucking people will not respond. Like they responded saying, you need to talk to this person. And then I like emailed that person and left her a voicemail and then never heard back. And then I wrote back to the company and they were like, oh my God, so sorry. Maybe try this. And then I did that, never heard back from anyone. And then I DM'd them on Instagram being like, hey, I want to use your product in my house. Can you give me a quote? Can you put me in touch with someone that can give me a quote on what it costs per square foot? And they were like, oh my God, yes, so sorry. Give us your email. Never responded back. But then the other day, I just see in my fucking feed just a picture from that company, like, look how nice our floors are. And I was like, put a comment that was like, yes, these floors are beautiful. I would literally love to use this product, but I cannot get a single person in your company to respond to my multiple queries about how much your product costs. And then I was like, you know what? It's not healthy.
It's time to log off.
It's time to log off and let it go and let that flooring go. Even though I love that flooring, it was beautiful and whatever, but I have to let it go. And like, it's not healthy that I have access to like whoever runs their Instagram account in that way, you know? So that's what I did my best at, is that I just, oh my God, you're typing so loud.
That's what it's always like when you click clack, just FYI. And maybe I'm a little bit typing hard today because I'm like, I have a lot of energy because I went to my energy healer and I had therapy. And I have to say, Casey, I think the energy healing is like working.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Well, I think it's a combination of lots of things.
Yeah.
But also when you're here, I want you to see her. I asked if I could like, as my treat, I want you to go to my energy healer if you would
That's
be
so
open
nice
to it.
Yeah, I would
Is that a
love
thing
to.
that you like or would do?
I don't know. I've never done it. I am like a little creepy about massages, but
It's not massaging. She doesn't touch you. That's
Well,
what's
that's
so
what I was
weird.
going to say. And I recently had a massage where I just was open with the lady that I was like, I'm a little weird about massages, about people touching me in that way. And she was great and like totally respected it. And it was like a fantastic massage. So I think I'd be okay with someone not touching me.
She touches you sometimes,
Yeah.
like very lightly.
Okay.
But also she does do some energy work and stuff that doesn't touch you at all. Regardless, it doesn't matter. You'd be fine with it.
Okay.
You are fully clothed
Yeah.
and just you lie down and close your eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
It's
that's so
been-
cool. I think it's very cool that you asked, because I like the recognizing that I have like vulnerabilities going way back to when I tried Pilates, which is a story for another podcast, another day.
We don't have time.
We don't have time to talk about the vulnerability of Pilates, but anyway, I'm so happy it's working for you.
I feel like it really is. And like, I got to be honest with you, like, guys, you know what they say. You know what the saying is.
What's the saying?
If it's hysterical, it's historical. And so this past month plus now in my life that has been fairly hysterical, I'll say,
Yeah.
has like deep fucking roots. And I think that that's part of what has been so difficult for me in this moment to move through, is that I think I'm a person that, like I said, I push through,
Yeah.
like pile it on, push through. I like went to Hoffman and I was like, I went to Hoffman. I did it. I went there for a week. I'm done. I'm good. And having like, being like literally, I feel like punched in the gut, like emotionally,
Yeah.
or like knocked out, maybe punched in the gut. I don't know. Punched in the gut to the ground.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Wind knocked out of me.
Yeah.
I then was like, it's like Memento. It's like
Right.
one of those, it's like any of those movies where then all of a sudden everything comes into focus. It's like the Hitchcock thing where they like zoom in and pan out at the same time. And you're like, oh, fuck, in slow motion.
Yeah.
Because you realize, oh, I actually just like, I passed the ball. I just like punted it.
Right.
And I'm still trying to heal the same fucking bullshit, which, by the way, is all of our life's work. It never ends. So, but I do think I was like sort of operating in under like for a really long time of like that that's healed. I moved through that.
Right.
And like the truth is that like everyone says all the time, all of the platitudes, every fucking person you follow on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, like healing is not linear. Like recovery is not linear. Healing trauma, healing childhood wounds, healing whatever sexual trauma, healing relationship shit. Like it's not a one and done like
No.
proposition.
I mean, you have to think of it in terms of like a physical wound. Like, so you get a gash on your forehead and you get it stitched up and it heals, but you still have that scar there that you're still going to catch a glimpse of it in the mirror and you're still going to touch it sometimes and remember. And so like, while it's not like a physical,
That scar is still going to
that
hurt when it
scar is
rains.
still there. And do scars hurt when it rains? Maybe.
I don't fucking know. But you know what? They are numb for a really long time. If you
Oh
have
my
surgery.
gosh, you're
you know
not
that.
kidding. I know.
Yeah.
I just got my feeling back in my torso from having Lincoln. He's 20.
Stop it. By the way, my knee surgery that I had when I was 14, I don't think I felt the front of my knee, no joke, until I was like 20 years old.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
Like
I'm
4
not-
or 5 years later, I was like, oh, that's weird. That's my knee? Oh, interesting. And I still don't think it's 100%.
Oh my
gotta
god,
be honest.
I feel like I had a healthy. I'm not.
Yeah,
I
feel
could
my knee.
not feel my torso for the longest time after having the kids, and I think the only thing that like. That's the kind of thing that would make me freak out and like lose my mind, like not being able to feel like a part of your body. But the thing that kept me sane, I think, is that when I had mono, when I was a teenager, I think I was like 15 maybe when I had mono, it was really serious and I was like rushed to the hospital because I fainted in the donut shop where I worked, and the people noticed that like I had a t-shirt on that like slipped back, and people noticed that I had like glands like sticking out of my back. And so I was rushed to the hospital. My mom took me to her internist instead of my pediatrician because that's who could see me. And he was like, they tested me for like really serious shit because they were like, what the fuck is this? Like all of her glands are like, you can see them. And so the test all came back and the doctor was like, it's good news. It's mono. It's not as serious as, a lot of the things we tested you for. It's just mono. And he was like, which is really common illness for kids your age. And I was like, okay. And then he was like, And so, you're going to need to like rest and take it easy. And if everything goes well, you should be feeling a lot better in a couple months. And then you'll feel like back to yourself in like 2 years. And I was like, that's so funny. And he was like, I'm really not joking. Like, I think it's going to take you like a good 2 months to get over like this illness. And I think it will honestly take you about 2 years until you're feeling like back to your old self. But, yeah. Anyway,
Can I ask you a question? Did you ever feel back to your old self? Because
I don't think so. I
don't-
never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had mono when I was 14. Maybe I had just turned, or I was just turning 15.
Yeah.
I wrote about it in my book.
Yeah.
And I also fainted like 3 times. I went to the Stone Temple Pilots concert with my friend. And I like threw up and fainted 3 times. And like they obviously at the concert thought I was like a kid on drugs.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. I had
Yeah.
mono.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm like, did I ever feel like, what was that? Like, did I ever feel normal again? Like health wise? I don't know.
Like, I think,
I don't know.
mean, I think that turned me into like a rester, Like, I think like before that, I didn't know what rest was. And I feel like I had endless amount of energy. But then
I have a lot of energy.
you do. Well, I was just thinking like, I can't imagine what your energy level was like before, but like,
Annoying.
thank God you got mono and almost died. No, but I think like the mono was a turning point in my life where I was like, oh, I can do something up to a certain point, but then even if it's like still fun and there's like a party going on and everything, I have to go and like close my eyes and go to sleep. Like,
yeah, no.
I was-
that didn't happen for me.
I was never that person before,
No,
and I
no.
instantly turned into that person.
My thing is like more that I really need to go lie down and close my eyes and like take care of myself. And someone's like, but you can do it, right? And I'm like, and
Yeah.
then I just like rally and do it. But here's the thing that I want to say, like to circle back.
Yeah.
I was mad at Mark for years for not like telling me to go rest when I needed to rest,
Right.
essentially. I was like mad at him for not taking care of me when the truth was I was not taking care of myself. And I was looking for someone to just come take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I like fucking realized, guess what, guys? At 43, it's me. Like, it's always supposed to have been me, like to have been me since I've been an adult. And when I was a child, that's a different story. But you know what? That's between me and Barb Phillips and Joe Phillips. And that's fine. It is what it is, But like, this is like, that's not, I think that there's a certain amount, and maybe it's also about the partners that you choose, right? Like,
Yeah.
maybe there are partners that can recognize it. Maybe I also, like I said to you 10 minutes ago, whatever, I could never be in touch enough with what I actually needed to say, like, I need you to do this for me, please.
Right.
Right. Because the truth is, like, Mark took great notes when I was able to give them,
Right.
But frequently I was like at a loss for what I even needed because I couldn't get in touch with it myself. I just knew that I wasn't getting it.
Right. So you were giving notes pertaining to other things,
Yeah, of course.
but not about your, yeah.
But not about like the deep need of like someone to,
Well, think about it,
But-
Biz.
but also, like,
did you come home from the hospital with the girls with like a list of like, they eat at this time, they poop at this time, they, this is how many times they peed. Like, we had all that written down in a notebook.
This is so funny that you say this because 3 days ago, I was looking for a photo
Yeah.
and I found my meticulous feeding log of Birdie that I kept. You guys, I was a fucking psychopath. And I wrote down every minute, how long she breastfed, on which boob, how many ounces approximately she got. I would weigh her. I bought a baby scale.
Yeah.
And I would weigh her before and after boobs.
To see how much got in her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like so in my fucking, you know, I had, like we talked about again earlier in this episode, like postpartum anxiety.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that was like how it was manifesting. Right.
Right.
But I was like, also, by the way, I do want to say, Birdie, the pediatrician didn't do me any favors, our original pediatrician, because Birdie was born giant.
Yeah.
Also, Adam Pally, due to milkshakes. Truly. I didn't even bring this up when he was talking, but I was like, honey, I know how to gain 100 pounds. Come on. Come sit next to me.
Yeah.
Fresh strawberry milkshakes at 3 p.m. Yes, please. I would have 2 slices of peanut butter toast, my favorite breakfast.
Yeah.
And then I would have breakfast.
Sure.
Yeah.
You were
when I was
eating
pregnant,
for 2.
I took it quite literally. But so anyway, so she came out, 10 pounds, that baby.
Yeah.
And almost 10 pounds, guys. She was big. And she wasn't in those first few weeks, gaining
Right.
a ton of weight.
Right. Probably
And
even lost weight at first.
she did.
Yeah.
And and they insisted on testing her for diabetes and
Right.
all this stuff, right? Which I'm convinced is the source of her trauma, and I need to get that energy healed. But anyway, whatever. That's another story. And so the doctor got it in my head that if I didn't keep track, that something terrible was going. I don't know. I don't even know.
Yeah, that
they
she
just
would just,
made these
disappear.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just terrified, and no one told me any different. And so I was just I found, and I kept them because I think I was always you're gonna want to look at this someday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someday you're gonna look at this and be like, the fuck
Yeah.
did you do?
Yeah.
I mean, Cricket, God bless.
Well,
I think I wrote down I fed her twice. You know what I
you
mean?
were more experienced at that time. But my point about documenting ounces in, ounces out, poops and naps and everything, we were making an instruction book for those kids, right? But nobody made an instruction book for ourselves, including us.
As we got older, yeah.
And so I suppose, and it's so obvious that if you ever sat and thought about it, you could write down some things here are things that are true about me. Here's a pattern. I always get starving at noon sharp, and if I wait until 1 o'clock, it's too late and I'm hangry and I'm not effective. And, I need naps at this time. And, things like you were saying, you need to lie down for 10 minutes. And I know that about you. You know what I mean? I know that about you. But it's one of those things where
I can do 2 shows, but I can't do 3.
right, exactly. And so it's just that those kind of things where no one ever told us really to be reflective enough about ourselves and to figure out even when we were asking Adam what's your dream, and the first thing he said was, well, I don't know, I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it. And I think that we were raised in this generation where not only did no one encourage us to think about what we need or what we want or whatever, but I would even argue that people discouraged us from thinking in those terms, being fucking get over yourself. What, you're a princess? You need a fucking list of what you can do and how you have to treat yourself and
Well, and a lot of Gen X, a lot of people our age, their parents were very well, we did it all for you.
Right.
We did it. We protested war. We got women's rights. We did the civil rights movement. We fixed it.
Right.
All.
Right.
Ladies can have credit cards now. You're welcome.
Right. Right.
And so it's like, okay, well, I guess I should be very grateful because it's all done for me.
Yeah.
But then come to the realization, and like literally, I think that like the gaslighting of the boomers to Gen X,
Yeah.
is kind of part and parcel why Gen X is like so apathetic, right? Because they're like, we were told everything was done. By the
Right.
way.
Right.
We were told all we had to do was show up and be our best and like anything was possible.
Right.
And guess what? Like
Right.
40 fucking years later, we realize, oh shit, that wasn't correct.
Right. And like, meanwhile, the way that we were being raised wasn't, and obviously this is sweeping generalization, but it wasn't normal. Like, we were on our own, and it's because like our parents were out of the house and working, and you could say it's because like, well, everyone just wanted to like give their families a better life or whatever, like everyone was yuppies or whatever was like the word du jour at the time. But the truth is, like, our parents had to work and there was no system set up to take care of us.
No.
So we were home alone, with, for better or for worse, without the internet, like to look up like what to do if you sprain your ankle or what, you know what I mean? Like, we were just like, we were weird, like at home survivalists, and like just weird loners, like trying to figure out how to like live off of what we were finding in the pantry. And
Honey, I have to say my parents really did, though, do me a solid with that Costco bag of tortilla chips. That was as tall as I was.
Yeah.
It was like 4.5 feet.
yeah.
And then the Kraft singles in the fridge. And that's all I need to
That's
this
all
day.
you
When
could-
people say that I seem like a bitch that could survive the apocalypse, I'm like, yeah, obviously.
If you hit up
Obviously
a
I could.
Costco.
But I think it's really interesting because I think it's like a piece that gets missed so frequently. And I think it gets missed by younger generations too when
Yeah.
they say things like, you guys did fucking shit about anything. It was like, oh, I thought that being objectified at work was like winning.
Yeah, the price.
I was told
Yeah.
that like the thing had been done and this was as good as it was ever gonna get,
Right.
and to be grateful for it and smile through it because it wasn't gonna get any better.
Right.
And so the realization, like when it starts dawning on you that like, oh fuck, man, wait, maybe that's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not right.
Yeah.
Maybe the way that we're talking about these things, treating people, what the fuck? And like, that's to say nothing of like, obviously, like our black friends and our brown friends and our like, like everybody else who's trying to like exist in a system that's essentially just like set up and run by white men
Who
benefiting.
they always knew it was fucked up.
Of course.
They always, like, it was never not fucked up for everyone else. And,
They've always known.
And so we're in this position now where we can communicate so much more readily and like learn so much more readily. But like there's a lot of fucked up wounds that a lot of us have to fix and figure out, and like figure out who we are and how we work. And like I'm still working on it, I feel like I didn't even really start the work of that until I was 40.
Well, here I am. I'm 3 years behind you.
But I think
I thought I had started, but I was wrong.
I think
thought I had started, but I was wrong.
I have
want to
high
tell you
hopes for you.
I want to tell you something really fast, though.
Please do.
That's going to be maybe you guys, and Barb, I know you listen to this podcast, and don't cry and don't call me crying, and like I love you, please. I hadn't really been talking to my mom a lot this month just because because this is a little bit also about like knowing what you're able to hold and what you're able to handle.
Sure.
And I'm like really working on that for
Yeah.
myself. And I love my mother so much.
Yeah.
Barbara is incredible, but there's also a dynamic that exists that like, you guys get it. Barbara, you get it. That when that I now know if I'm like in crisis, maybe it's not the best moment for me to share with her.
Right.
Because it causes a bunch of other things to be activated, right?
Right.
Does that make
Sure.
sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. but I've been like we've been communicating a bit, and like we communicate through text, and then like when I'm with the kids, like with FaceTime and talk to my mom, dad, whatever. But I know she's been really concerned about me because also she listens to the podcast, so she's like, listen to me cry.
Yeah.
Be real. So she called me and was like, I really like, I'm so glad we're getting to talk because I've been really upset. Like, I know that you've been having this hard time and da 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 da. And I like explained to her one situation. There's been multiple things in the last 2 months, almost, whatever, month and a half, whatever, in my life. And I sort of like just explained to her more what had been happening.
Yeah.
And my mom started like not in any, like in just a very, whatever.
Yeah.
My mother started like sort of offering excuses for the other people's behavior.
Yeah.
In a way that was just like, it was like, but I felt really grounded when I called her, you know, like I've been doing this energy work. I've been doing my therapy. I've been talking to you. I've been talking to Jenny. I've been talking to Emily BB and Mark, my friend Goldie. I've been seeing my Jen. I've been seeing like good girlfriends and Mark and bless. You know, I was feeling really grounded. And so like when my mom like started doing this thing, excusing someone else's bad behavior towards me, I was like, okay, like this is what she's able to do in this moment. Like, this is how she's able to show up because she's always in her life had to make excuses for people hurting her.
Because that's all you're going to get is the story that when Barb and my mom grew up, that's all they were ever going to get was the story that they told themselves about how something happened.
And how to justify bad, hurtful behavior so that it can kind of make sense and so that you can just like
go on,
brush it under the rug and go on. Okay? But I'm really fucking feeling it in this moment. Like, I'm not brushing it under the rug and I'm really feeling it and I'm like allowing myself to feel all of it. And anyway, but because I've been like, I was feeling very grounded when I called Barb. I love her so much. And I just had such compassion for her. And I was like, Mom, I love you so much. Thank you for talking to me. I'll talk to you soon. I'll call you with the girls this week, like this week sometime. Okay. Love you. Bye. And I hung up and was like, honestly, didn't let it affect me in any way. Didn't let it like go back and rethink about my own experience and how I've been dealing with it and what it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just was like, this is my mother's experience and bless her heart. I love her so much. And that's what she was able to meet me with. And I kind of knew that on a level. And that's why I didn't really want to talk to her without, about any of this.
Yeah.
Right. Went out to dinner with Jen that night and we had like a great, really lovely night, just like the two of us. And then we went back and like hung out with Birdie and it was just so fun. And I told Jen a little bit about the conversation and I was just like, I just have to have so much compassion. Like not since I was at Hoffman, basically, right. Or like in the very few weeks after have I been able to like sort of access that thing. But I really have been like fucking trying to do this thing for real, I guess. I don't know. And it's again, a process, but, so anyway, the next day, my mom texted me, I need you to call me. And I was like, oh, fuck, did someone die?
Right.
Oh, fuck me. Okay, is everyone okay? And she's like, yeah, everyone's fine. And then my mom starts crying and she's like, I messed up yesterday when I was talking to you. I was trying to make excuses for someone else's behavior. I don't give a fuck about that person. I care about you and your emotions. And it's not okay that you're hurting. And I'm so sorry. And Casey, what the fuck? I was like, Mom, you turned 80 this year. Like, I cannot tell you how huge that is.
Right.
Like, you have lived your entire life making excuses for people that have hurt you. And that's, of course, your first go-to. And I wasn't judging you. I wasn't like gonna bring it up. You know, there's a version of me in most all the years previous where I would be like, why are you doing that? Why would you fucking defend? You know? But instead I just was like, in that moment, like, thanks, Mom. Thanks for talking to me. I love you. Goodbye. And what I realized is that it allowed her the space without having to get defensive, without having to defend her own immediate emotional response, to like really think about our conversation and what she sounded like, and if that was what she wanted to impart to me in that moment.
Right.
And she had realized that the night before, like, that's not what I wanted to impart to her. That's not what's important to me. What's important to me is that my daughter, who I love, who's like the best thing ever, knows that I support her no matter what. And like, I don't know, man. I just feel like if my mom at 79 can like be able to do that, fuck. We can all, as Glennon Doyle says, do hard things.
That's a really big deal. And the truth is, it's not that hard, but we just trip ourselves up getting there. We trip ourselves up by all the things that you just described. You just described a million ways it could have gone wrong and how it has gone wrong.
And a
in
million
the past.
ways it's gone wrong in the past. And a million ways it's gone wrong in the past.
But you just didn't let it this time.
No.
Because here's the thing. You could have angrily said, why are you doing this? But I think instead you asked yourself kindly, why is she doing this? And you knew why she's doing it.
And the answer is like, and the answer's full of fucking compassion for her.
Right. Right. And so that's a huge deal. I'm so happy that you had that moment with her.
I know.
And I'm so happy that she had the courage to call you back, because I bet that's a thing that a lot of parents or like people in our lives actually like get on the precipice of thinking but never follow through and make the call, because it takes a lot of courage to tell someone like, I could have done that better. And
I was so proud of her. Like, and so happy that that's my mom, and like, and also like that bodes well for the rest of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Down the line. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we can change this shit. We can.
Yeah. I mean, life is, it doesn't feel like it sometimes, I know, but life is a fucking gift. And I have this one friend that she's religious, and I'm not super religious, but one reason that I love her and I love following her on social media is every day she posts on social media thanking the Lord for the wake, which means like, I'm thanking God for waking me up again another day. And her life is such that, like, you know, I think she understands the gravity of like how, you know, without getting like too deep into it, she has like physical limitations that might make it so that like there might be a day when she doesn't wake. You know, that's just the reality of it. So like knowing her makes me just think of like how every day, every fucking day, and especially after everything we've been through over the past few years, every day is an opportunity to get it right. And you're never going to get everything right. And you can't control everything. You can't control who says yes to you and who says no to you and whatever, but you can like get it right with the people in your life. But it does take courage. It takes a little bit of courage, but it's so funny because once it's done, you just see like, oh, that was the right thing, you know, that was the right thing.
And it also, again, doesn't mean that it's not going to roll back and happen another time in a way that's not great.
Right. But also when it reappears, knowing how to like handle it, it's so much easier the second time you do it. Just like anything, so much easier. But just the other day, there was some Twitter thread where so many people were asking, when's the first time an adult apologized to you? And so many people were like, no one's ever apologized to me. No one's ever said I'm sorry for anything they've ever done to me, which is like wild, because I think it would be rare to find a parent that said, oh, I was a perfect parent. I never made a mistake. Parents all the time, we hear them saying like, I'm not a perfect parent. We all make mistakes. Then therefore your kid should have gotten an apology from you at some point.
I also, though, do want to just say this. Just going to say it.
Yeah.
Sometimes kids can't hear it.
That's true. That's true. That is true.
And I understand that as well from
Yeah.
both sides.
Yeah.
I know that my mother apologized to me for some things that then came out in my book. And then she was like, I did it before. It obviously didn't stick. I want to say again, for this, I'm like deeply, deeply sorry. And in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, maybe you did. But I was like,
write it down, everyone.
I was like 20. I was 20 and I wanted to fucking kill you.
Write it down, put it in writing.
I know, but I do. I'm sure I know you apologize to your kids, but I definitely have apologized to my kids. I mean, that's what that whole evening with Birdie was. My top 5 worst mom fails.
For sure. But it's hard. It's hard to say sorry sometimes because I think we're more entrenched about family things than we are about any other thing. So whenever you wonder how things happen politically or whatever, look at how entrenched we become about ideas surrounding the people that are in our lives and how hard it is to say, oh, I might have been thinking about this wrong. I might have done this wrong. I have more information now and now I'm changing. It's very difficult. It can be very difficult. But the weird thing is once you make up your mind to do it and you do it, it's not as difficult as you thought it was going to be. And it gets easier every time. And then next thing you know, you just have a perfectly mentally healthy family and everything's perfect.
Everything is perfect, you guys. And on that note, everything's perfect. Generational trauma healed. And good night, everybody. We love you so much.
We'll see you Friday in San Francisco. Tickets are still available. Palace of Fine Arts. Get your tickets because we want to see you in San Fran. I think people from San Francisco hate that when you say San Fran. I'm
going to bring burritos.
Oh.
And throw them in the audience. Isn't that what San Francisco says they have the best at? Burritos?
I don't know.
Isn't it burritos?
I just know about Rice-A-Roni, which I don't think
they definitely, no, I don't think they claim that. But they definitely say that, they're like, our burritos are the best. That's the
okay.
thing
All right.
against Southern California.
All right. Well, all right. So wear your burrito helmets. Wear your sequins.
Oh, we didn't even fucking talk about my sequin fucking score at Anthropology. Did you see my Instagram story?
I did see that you got something at Anthropology, but I didn't see.
Well, no, because I'm saving it for the big night. But I did give the tip to people
to go to Anthropology
if they're interested in joining the theme. And again, the theme
no
is
pressure.
It's mandatory. It's not mandatory.
It's just for fun.
You're allowed to come, but as you are, wear jeans. I don't give a fuck what you wear. I mean, wear clothes. Wear clothing.
That's a rule.
To be honest, I don't think they would let you in if you were naked.
Yeah, probably not.
Although
it's San Francisco, I don't know. I'm not a citizen.
There's that naked guy. I don't know.
But I also scored a really great sequined outfit from Eloquii. If you're not familiar, probably, but I bet a lot of people are.
I know Eloquii. Come on.
I don't know.
Did I not work on Busy Tonight?
Oh, that's true. That's true. I know we did some. But anyway, so many sequins are falling off that shit that there'll be enough sequins to make someone else an outfit by the end of the night. So it's just shedding sequins everywhere.
Actually hilarious. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited to be in San Francisco. I actually really, really love San Francisco. I've spent so many years going there for Sketchfest. Oh no, I'm going to cry.
Aww.
It's just been a lot of years that I've spent going there for Sketchfest. blast. And I
Yeah.
have like a lot of really great memories with my friends there doing comedy and stuff. And you doing the Busy Tonight show there
Yes.
live. That was so fun.
Yeah. It's going to be so fun. And our friend Paul F. Tompkins is going to be our guest.
And guys, I have like kind of a big deal for me and maybe you. But I like wildly stoned reached out to the lead singer of Rogue Wave, the band, who sings the song Bird on a Wire that I mistook and in my head thought was Bear on a Wire. Because I know his wife, he had reached out to me at some point because they were playing like a live stream of their album, of like one of their albums, and he's like, my wife says that you're a really big fan. So his wife follows me.
Yeah.
Maybe she listens to the podcast. What's up, wife? I don't know your name yet. I hope we'll meet.
I hope we meet too.
And which is also funny because I do feel like several band people have gotten into us, you and me, because of their wives.
I think that's true. And it makes my husband like insane because he's like, so many of these like singer-songwriter guys that are heroes to me, I know, like DM
I mean, like
you.
Joe Permnice is like the fucking coolest.
Yes.
Like, I can't believe, like, Rogue Wave has like a few, literally, like, Rogue Wave has a few of like my favorite songs of all time. And California is one of them.
Yes.
And if you guys don't know that song, you should just check it out. I don't think we're going to be singing it. And then I said to him, this is so weird. This is a person I don't know at all. And I was just like, stoned. Wild question for you. Are you in town next weekend? And do you want to come play some songs acoustically? And also one with me where I sing and you don't? And also, if you don't, do you guys just want to come to the show? That's
oh
fine
my
too.
God.
And he was like very cool about it. I was like, yeah, we're in. I'm in. That sounds great. What songs do you have in mind to sing? And then I was like blank. I had nothing.
Oh my God.
And then Casey, he suggested 3 songs. And like the third one is, you guys will recognize it and say, we're not going to ruin it. If you've been following me for a while on Instagram, and back when I used to do the lullabies for Cricket when she was little and I would record them, you're going to recognize the song. And I think you're going to be really happy about it. I was so thrilled.
That's amazing. It's as perfect as Seth's choice for The Last of Us of that Linda Ronstadt song is. That's how perfect the song that you chose to sing is going to be, right?
I think so.
Oh, and also speaking of, I've been wanting to bring this up, but speaking of awesome, cool musician guys who we know because of their wives, Lou Barlow from Dinosaur Jr. and Sebado.
Incredible.
Love that guy so much. And his wife Adele is amazing and she's a talented artist in her own right. They have started a podcast called Raw Impressions where it's really short. So if you... if you love this really long podcast, maybe you have time for like a really short podcast to add into your repertoire, but it's really fun. And they're just like, they're so adorable. And Lou does these, like he redoes the commercial jingles for like all the toys when we were little kids in like a weird, surreal way. And I just love it so much. But anyway, check out their podcast, Raw Impressions. It's super fun to
Wait, are
to
they
listen to them.
in Boston?
They're in Massachusetts. Yes.
Are they coming to the live show?
I hope they are. Lou might be going on tour, so I think that's where like he might have a show himself, but I don't know. But they might be there.
Well, Will is playing, but also if Lou wanted to play, we could sing White Trash Heroes together.
Lou Barlow, if you're out in that audience, we might call
And
you
I'm like,
up, but not to get
frozen out of focus. On neon lights.
I don't want to promise that he'll be there because like he might have stuff going on, but we will. I think that if he doesn't make it to that Boston show, we will sing with Lou Barlow at some point. We have to make it a goal.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, guys, you all have bought tickets to this show. We'll find out. And if it is successful, then hopefully Casey and I will do more.
Yeah, that's
And
February.
then we'll have to book more people. Casey, this seems like a lot.
It's a lot of work. How does everyone do it?
I mean, considering that we literally just booked Adam today for New Jersey, which, by the way, I think might be fucking amazing.
Which might be amazing. I mean, like, well, now we know the secret. Get someone in a high pressure situation where they're being recorded and can't say no.
Do you think he's really going to do it?
I hope so.
I think so.
All
I
right.
think he is.
All right.
I feel good about it.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure.
We'll follow up.
I'm going to follow up. I'll follow up right now.
All right. You guys, we love you so much.
We love you so
Get your
much.
tickets for those shows because we really want to see you.
Yes.
And
Yes.
have a great week. And yeah, the next time we'll see you is Friday night in San Francisco.
And then on to the Taylor Swift rave.
That's Busy's vote for what we should do after the show. Taylor
After
Swift rave.
party, Taylor Swift rave. You guys, we love you so much. Thank you for being along for the journey.
We'll talk to you
later.
soon.
Bye.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Oh no.